It's Tuesday, December 2nd. Today's school safety, what Manitoba's premier is saying to parents following a disturbing incident at a Winnipeg school. The search for remains of a victim of a convicted serial killer, how long officials expect it could take. And later, what's impacting Canadians' decisions on holiday shopping this season. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Tuesday to you. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. We have a lot in the next 3 hours for you, including Ains McPhail is going to be live at the Transcona Museum. They have the whole place decorated in Christmas, ready to go for the holidays. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit more about the history of the area of the city, but also about some of the cool features you can enjoy during the holidays. So we're going to have that throughout the morning, but it certainly feels frigid this morning. When I came out, my toes were cold almost right off the bat.
I know. We've been kind of being babied by Mother Nature.
Yes.
November was so incredibly mild, and then December, it's like we fell off a proverbial cliff, if you will, with our temperatures. And we're certainly feeling it this morning. It's minus 13 degrees out there, minus 21 with the wind chill. It is cloudy, and those southerly winds are moving our camera around out there. The barometric pressure is falling, and the humidity sits at 82%. So we are tracking a kind of weaker, but a clipper nonetheless, that's moving into likely southern Manitoba today. You can see it there on our radar. It's bringing a good chance of some light snow today. So while it won't be heavy and the accumulations won't be massive, it will be snow nonetheless. Our Futurecast gives us a better sense of that. So there's that little speckling there. Could be about 2 to 4 centimeters worth. And mixed in with that are some fairly strong northerly winds that likely will be blowing that snow around mostly in the Red River Valley, likely overnight. But as the day progresses, we do see that start to taper off. Also not showing up on the Futurecast. 60% chance of flurries to the north. Likely you'll be pretty overcast. Quite chilly too, with temperatures in the upper minus teens or low minus 20s. Particularly in the northeast corner are the more frigid temperatures, while we'll be in the low teens, a few degrees cooler than what's typical for this time of year. Overnight, that snowfall could continue. Maybe some blowing snow as well with those strong northwesterly winds, but it'll taper off by morning and those skies clear out nicely throughout. Lots of sunshine on the way tomorrow. However, not bringing a ton of heat with it. And then we're tracking our next, not disturbance, but snowfall, if you will, bringing a good chance of snowfall to southern Manitoba once again by Thursday, as you can see there. I mentioned some decent temperatures, still cooler, but better than what we were seeing yesterday, minus 10 degrees. But tomorrow, with that sunshine, we get quite cool at minus 16.
Thank you, Catherine. Every school division in Manitoba is being ordered to boost safety. This comes after a convicted sex offender allegedly made his way into a K-8 school washroom last week in St. Vital and grabbed a student. As CTV's Harrison Shin shows you, the premier spoke directly to parents who are now questioning just how safe their kids are at school.
The message from the NDP government was clear Monday.
Schools in Manitoba are safe.
Manitoba schools are safe.
In the wake of a disturbing incident Thursday afternoon, police say a man made his way into Darwin School and allegedly grabbed a child in the washroom. The child fought and got away. The man then fled, according to police. 28-year-old Scott William George, a convicted sex offender, was arrested at a nearby shopping mall. He is charged with assault, forcible confinement, and 2 counts of failure to comply with a prohibition regarding children. Education Minister Tracy Schmidt said Darwin School had locked doors, but she said that didn't work, so she's sending a strong message.
Let me be clear. We are encouraging every single school division across Manitoba to strongly consider controlled access to their building.
And she is going one step further.
I've asked all school divisions to submit an emergency response plan to my department for review. This plan will include how they will control access at schools.
Divisions will only have until Christmas to report. The province will provide an immediate $500,000 fund to the Manitoba School Boards Association to assist reviews and training.
We look forward to digging into the details of today's announcement to make sure that the investments by the provincial government are put to the very best use that they can be in ensuring that the unique needs of community schools across the province are met.
Schmidt also says everything is on the table.
These are also first steps. We will take every measure necessary to make sure that kids are safe.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The province can't simply direct all schools to lock their doors. Section 47 of the Public Schools Act says each division must have an emergency response plan, but it does not require locked doors. However, the act does say the emergency response plans should include how they will control access to outsiders. The Federal Department of Justice is calling for a Manitoba man's lawsuit to be dismissed. In August, Scott Taylor sued the Attorney General of Canada and the RCMP after he was wrongfully arrested and falsely linked to a child sex exploitation ring. Taylor says the botched RCMP investigation ruined his life.
I had to hide. I had to go in hiding. Literally had to go in hiding, and my house was vandalized. I had so many death threats. Like endless amount of threats. I'm scared.
That's what Scott Taylor told CTV News in July 2024, days after he was arrested, charged, and taken out of his Portage La Prairie home by RCMP officers. His statement of claim alleges RCMP mistook him for another man with the same name. His lawsuit claims easily verifiable information, such as his lack of facial hair and a different company truck on his driveway, would have proved Mounties had the wrong guy. However, in its statement of defense, Canada's Attorney General says there were reasonable and probable grounds to believe he was involved in the offense, including that his name and race matched and that he was known to RCMP. The statement of defense also says the RCMP acted lawfully, reasonably, and in good faith, adding that the RCMP media release did not amount to defamation. The RCMP, who are also listed as a defendant, have not yet filed a statement of defense, and none of the claims has been tested in court. Winnipeg's St. John's ambulance facility is expanding thanks to new funding from Ottawa.
Across Canada, communities are adapting to new realities, from more frequent extreme weather to more responses to emergencies. These challenges remind us how important it is to have strong emergency response systems and people who are trained and ready to act.
The feds are dishing out $400,000 for a planned 3,000-foot expansion to St. John Ambulance headquarters on Portage Avenue. The new space will be used for first aid training and help volunteers prepare to work at community events and assist during emergencies like this past summer's wildfire evacuations.
St. John Ambulance volunteers from Manitoba, with the support of volunteers from Saskatchewan, Ontario, and Alberta, served over 6,100 hours of volunteer service in 67 days this summer in the evacuation shelters here in Manitoba. That's St. John Ambulance. That's what we do. That's what this building facilitates.
St. John Ambulance says construction is expected to begin midway through 2026. The man accused of killing the CEO of United Healthcare on a New York street last year was in court Monday. Lawyers for Luigi Mangione are seeking to bar evidence found in his backpack, including a 3D printed gun, a silencer, and a notebook, saying police failed to advise him of his rights. Prosecutors deny any illegal search. Outside the court, several supporters gathered with signs saying "Free Luigi" and denouncing steep healthcare costs. Automaker Stellantis will have another chance to appear before a parliamentary committee after failing to show up to a meeting last week.
I am incredibly annoyed that Stellantis has not been able to join us.
Stellantis blamed technical difficulties for failing to connect online. That meant not having to answer questions about its decision to shift Jeep production from Brampton, Ontario to Illinois. Stellantis is now compelled to appear before the committee on Thursday. One of the biggest retail chains in the United States, Costco, is suing the Trump administration over tariffs. Costco is the latest company to launch legal action against Trump's signature economic policy. It's asking the Court of International Trade to consider declaring the use of an emergency measure to collect the tariffs unlawful, and is seeking a full refund if the Supreme Court strikes down the tariffs. The top court is currently reviewing the case. An historic relic that stood inside Portage Place for decades has now been removed. The iconic 122-year-old clock has been crated up and placed in storage, according to True North, the company behind the multi-million-dollar redevelopment project of the old mall. It says the clock will remain in storage in case someone steps forward with a plan for the relic. The clock was originally installed at the top of Winnipeg's old City Hall building. Here's what's happening now. Traffic along Portage Avenue at Polo Park. Looks like a smooth drive here to start off your day. No issues to tell you about at this point. If you see any problems out there, please text them to us at 10400. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live this morning at the Transcona Museum. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. What a delight it is to be here in Transcona for Giving Tuesday, a global initiative that you can give back to your community, maybe even give the gift of the holiday season in a Transcona t-shirt. We'll have a gift guide coming up later on in the show. But we're looking at Framed right now, and when you're here, you can enjoy that till the 19th before they close for the holidays. But Saturday at the train, the CN 2747, you can take your picture with none other than Santa Claus, of course, if the weather is accommodating to that. I want to circle back to Giving Tuesday as well, because every donation that you make for that today is going back to the children's programming. So coming up as well in the 7 o'clock hour, we're going to be telling you about some of those activities that the kids can take advantage of. They kind of pocket that into different areas of their year as well. So stay with us. It's certainly a lot of fun.
Okay, and it looks great in there. Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's a crisp start to the morning. How's it feeling out there, Catherine?
Crisp is the correct word, Rochelle. Yeah, it's a little bit chilly, not quite as frigid as we were seeing yesterday, but the bite in the air will certainly wake you up. It's minus 12 degrees, excuse me. The wind chill, though, makes it feel more like minus 21. It is slightly overcast to kick off our day. Winds are at the south at 21 clicks, pressure falling, humidity at 82%. So many parts of the north and even some parts of Westman are waking up to some snowfall this morning. Flurries expected off and on through northern Manitoba today, and light snowfall will be our form of precipitation here in southern Manitoba. So as mentioned, it's beginning in the west, and this, when I say this, I mean the weak clipper that's pushing in from the west that's responsible for this precipitation, and it's going to fan out through southern Manitoba today. Winnipeg is expecting about 2 to 4 centimeters worth. Temperatures a few degrees cooler than what's typical for this time of year. For Winnipeg, that's a high of minus 10, when minus 7 is typical. To the north, you're looking at highs much cooler in the upper minus teens to low minus 20s, particularly in the northeast. Snow could continue overnight for you, while here in the south, we'll see those winds ramp up, adding to some blowing snow there, but it'll taper off by tomorrow with sunshine on the way to southern Manitoba. We're taking a break. I'm going to warm up, but stay with us. So much more Your Morning Winnipeg still to come.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
We all know just how cold Manitoba winters can be. Imagine not having a winter coat, boots, a toque, or mitts, and stepping out into the cold. That's the reality for many kids. But you can change that. Give the gift of warmth. Donate to Coats for Kids.
Good morning. A search of Brady Road landfill for the remains of a murdered Indigenous woman is now underway.
I just told her parents, I hope you feel that this is the value and the respect and the dignity that we hold for your daughter, and I hope we're able to bring her home and bring her home soon.
Ashley Shingoose was killed in March 2022 by convicted serial killer Jeremy Skibitsky. Police believe Skibitsky dumped her body in a garbage bin, and the contents were taken to Brady Road landfill in the city's south end. The search for Shingoose comes months after the remains of 2 other Skibitsky victims, Morgan Harris and Mercedes Myron, were found at Prairie Green landfill.
Using the same search facility that we used at Prairie Green, which we've relocated to this site, and we have teams of searchers just methodically working through the landfill material. This is the same process that brought Morgan and Mercedes home. Now hopefully we'll bring Ashley home.
Premier Wabkinew says the search, which could take up to a year, will be funded through money earmarked prior to the excavation of Prairie Green. That search, according to the province, cost around $18 million, well below initial estimates. You'll need to find a new route if you're driving into the St. James area this weekend. The city says the northbound St. James Bridge, which runs from Academy Road to Portage Avenue, will be closed between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Sunday. Is for maintenance work. The city suggests giving yourself some extra time and using either the Maryland Bridge or William R. Clement Parkway instead. A Calgary man has been found guilty of participating in terrorist activities overseas. A judge ruled late Monday afternoon that Jamal Borhat traveled to Syria in 2013 to 2014 to fight with ISIS. Justice Dario says Borhat took part in training, acts of violence, and leadership duties with a goal to rid Syria of any non-Muslim believers. In 2022, Borhat's co-accused and cousin, Hussein Borhat, pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 12 years in prison. Sentencing arguments will take place at a later date. Prime Minister Carney shuffled the deck Monday to fill a hole in his cabinet. The move is bringing a familiar face back to the fold. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
Familiar but surprising return to cabinet.
That I have Mark Miller.
Mark Miller, a close friend of former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, is back in the inner circle. Appointed by Mark Carney in a dual role as Minister for Canadian Identity and Culture and Minister of Official Languages. Before this shuffle, Miller had been on the backbenches since March.
I had the opportunity to be a minister for about 6 years and now another opportunity. So it feels great. I am a guy that likes to be busy, and so, I was a little restless.
Miller previously served as Immigration Minister and Minister of Indigenous Crown Relations. His experience could help Carney navigate anger over the pipeline agreement with Alberta. That MOU pushed the government's most ardent environmental defender, Stephen Guilbeault, to quit cabinet. Guilbeault remains part of caucus.
Because of the nature of the people that get elected to these posts and what we expect them to do, we expect them to have frank and honest conversations, notably with the Prime Minister, so not worried about caucus unities.
The Minister of Public Service and Procurement, Joël Lightbound, takes on the additional role of Quebec Lieutenant.
It's an important role in federal politics and in Quebec politics, and I look forward to getting to it with I'm sure with the advice of Stephen Guilbeault, who's been an outstanding Quebec lieutenant.
Julie DeBrusen's responsibilities are also growing. She's now Minister of the Environment, Climate Change and Nature, responsible for national parks.
All three ministers who were involved in this mini shuffle were first elected in 2015, when under Justin Trudeau they formed the government. Now, under Mark Carney, the cabinet size remains at 38 members.
The union representing workers of the Diageo Crown Royal plant that's closing in Amherstburg, Ontario, has reached a final deal with their employer.
It's somber because a lot of people are choosing to exercise their rights under the closure agreement, and today's their last day.
Among the issues covered in the agreement are employee bonuses and benefits. The plant officially closes in February, but the city says several companies are interested in buying it. The World Health Organization is backing the use of GLP-1 drugs for obesity.
These new medicines are a powerful clinical tool offering hope to millions. But let me be clear, medication alone will not solve the obesity crisis.
The WHO says a healthy diet and physical activity should be paired with the medicines, and that access to the drugs is a major issue, with not enough production to meet the global need. Snow and colder temperatures aren't the only ways that we know Christmas is just around the corner. The iconic humbug sign has reappeared on a balcony in the Polo Park area. The sign has been a Yuletide landmark leading up to Christmas since 1973. That's when the original owner decided he wanted to wish people happy holidays in his own special way, and has been put up every year since.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
Some road closures to remind you about this morning. Following the rush, the westbound curb lane will be closed on Nairn Overpass between Gray and Watt. The median lanes on Arlington will be closed between Alexander and Flora. On Inkster, the eastbound curb lane will be closed between Powers to Main. If you have any other traffic tips to share with us, please text them to 10400.
The Bath Fitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
A chilly start to this Tuesday. We're sitting at -12 in Winnipeg. That wind chill, though, making it feel more like -21. It's cloudy, breezy with those southerly winds at 21 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling, humidity at 82%. So yes, we're going to be dealing with some cooler conditions. Not quite at what's typical for this time of year, but not as chilly as we saw yesterday. So good news, bad news. Most of the province waking up to temperatures in the low minus teens. -10 in Morden and Winkler, -11 in Brandon. As far north as the Pas, you're at -12 degrees. And I want to highlight as well, while the temperature in Churchill says -21, that wind chill is making it feel in excess of -40 this morning, and it will be the case throughout the day. So if you're in any of these parts, be sure to bundle up, because the wind chill is definitely back and cooling us off to a dangerous degree sometimes. We are expecting some snowfall today. It's already shown up in areas in Westman, including Brandon. This is the culprit here. That's a weak clipper. With it, 2 to 4 centimeters of snow is expected. So you want to put the kids on the bus with a good couple of layers and ready for the wetter weather. -13 as they head on to class, -12 as they take lunch, and getting a little bit warmer at -11 with that light snowfall expected later on this morning. Temperatures getting a little warmer from there. -10 is our high, -7 is what's typical. Our winds here in southern Manitoba will be out of the south, while the rest of the province will be dealing with very strong northwesterly winds. Overnight, the wind should blow some of that snow around, -19 degrees, but it tapers off before morning. And we have a sunny one ahead on Wednesday with a cool high of -16. Your Skywatch picture of the day, Roy snapped this lovely shot in Lorette of the sunset. Thanks for sending that in, Roy, and keep your weather pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca. We're going to take a break, but stay with us. So much more Your Morning Winnipeg still to come.
Good morning. Deck the halls for your chance to win and be featured on Your Morning Winnipeg. Here at Your Morning, we love the sights of the season, and we want to see how you've decorated for the holidays. All those nutcrackers, lights, and trees could help you win a $500 gift card from Red River Co-op and have the chance to show off your holiday house live on Your Morning Winnipeg with a visit from Ainsley McPhail. To enter, head to our contest page at ctvwinnipeg.ca, fill out the form, and submit some pictures. Good luck. Whether Alberta will remain in Canada or seek independence could be voted on in their next provincial election. Pressure is mounting for Alberta's premier to move the separatist agenda forward, while at the same time, a petition calling for MLAs to vote on whether to remain in Canada has just been certified by Elections Alberta. CTV's Kevin Green reports.
A standing ovation for Premier Smith Monday from energy contractors happy with the recent memorandum of agreement with Ottawa, a far cry from the reception it got from members of her own party at the weekend AGM.
I hope people today feel a lot more confident that Canada works than they did a couple of days ago.
In fact, the biggest cheers at the convention went to Alberta separatists, which the party president says now make up the majority of UCP members.
I would say that probably more than half of our membership actively support the idea of an independent Alberta.
The premier doesn't buy that. Is your party now a separatist party?
No.
Danielle Smith says there's a place in her mind for Alberta inside Confederation, but admits it's not an easy sell to some in her party.
I've always said my job is to tell people that Canada works and show them that it works, and to get more people to understand that we can have our own sovereign areas of jurisdiction within a united Canada. So I got a little more work to do.
Political scientist Dwayne Bratt says Smith is trying to play both sides, but that can't last.
She keeps using the phrase sovereign Alberta and a united Canada, because that seems to appeal to both sides. But at a certain point, she's going to have to pick a side.
That could come sooner than she wanted. Monday, Elections Alberta said the Forever Canadian petition is certified. Its founder wants it to force a vote in the legislature. The Justice Minister says Cabinet will meet to plan next steps, but Thomas Lukaszuk expects Smith will push it to a referendum to appease her independence wing.
Now she has to save her political hide and give them a referendum, but she can only blame it on herself.
Smith is being squeezed on both sides of the separation question. The leader of the Alberta Republican Party says if Smith doesn't stand up in the legislature and say she supports the majority of her party wanting to separate, she should say she's quitting.
I think if you're the leader of a party and you don't identify with the clear majority of what your membership is aligned with, then maybe you're leading the wrong parade.
The Premier's press secretary says that Smith will introduce legislation sometime this week to clarify just what she means by a sovereign Alberta within a united Canada. That could come as early as Tuesday. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Cloudy skies to kick off our Tuesday, and those skies will be joined soon by some light snowfall. It's -12 out there. The wind chill is making it feel closer to -21. As mentioned, overcast southerly winds at 21 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling, humidity sits at 82%. So yes, we are tracking this clipper, this low pressure system that's been pushing in from the west. You can see it's already kind of moved over southwestern Manitoba. So areas like Brandon, Neepawa, Dauphin, you're waking up to some snowfall. We will be joining the the club in due course today. We are getting up to a high of -10 degrees. Light snow expected off and on through the day, likely expected to start later on this morning, about 2 to 4 centimeters worth. Winds will be decent out of the south at 20 kilometers per hour, but that is going to be keeping our temperatures a little bit warmer than much of the rest of the province that are dealing with these very strong northwesterly winds, especially in the north, that are making for temperatures in the highs of the upper -teens to low -20s and some very chilling wind chills. Meanwhile, overnight we will get some cooler values, -19 degrees, and our winds do shift and then ramp up following suit with the rest of Manitoba out of the north at 40, gusting at times to 60 kilometers per hour. So that'll make for some periods of blowing snow, but it should taper off before the morning, setting the stage for a sunny day, but a chilly one. -16 degrees on Wednesday with those northwesterly winds staying fairly strong at 30 kilometers per hour, but clear skies to kind of cushion the impact a bit. By Thursday, we're back under some flurry activity, -10 degrees, not moving a lot in terms of our temperatures overnight to -13. And Friday, we're under a mix of sun with a high of -10.
2025 was one of the worst wildfire seasons on record in Manitoba. Fires destroyed thousands of hectares of forest, whole communities were displaced for weeks on end, and 2 people lost their lives. Now, months later, as many rebuild, they want to know what's being done to prevent future fires. CTV's Joseph Bernacki has some answers.
Fear. I had fear.
Chief David Monius of Pimachikamak Cree Nation says that's what comes to mind when he recalls the deadly fire this summer. He watched 160,000 hectares of his nation's traditional land burn from nearly every direction.
When I seen the amount of fire that was there, and it was coming towards from the west, moving towards the northern side, and then from the southern side, I thought, my God, we're going to lose our homes. We're going to lose our livelihood, and what are we going to do with the people?
Thousands of members of the Northern First Nation were evacuated, and they were out for weeks. They came back to a changed landscape.
We're still very much into land-based subsistence, and when that's destroyed, it's hard to recover from that. It'll take years to recover from it.
And it's not just communities trying to rebuild. Many tourism hubs across the province are out thousands in missed revenue. Pitt Turen, co-owner of Aikens Lake Wilderness Lodge, says his fly-in resort north of Nopaming Provincial Park lost 33 days of their limited season due to threatening wildfires.
Just over $1 million of revenue that we weren't able to collect this year, and a lot of those customers will be back next year, but in our industry, our commodity is the dates on the calendar.
Turen says the fires at Aikens Lake crept up to their doorstep before they got it under control. Don Lamont, executive director of Manitoba Lodges and Outfitters, says 2/3 of their members were impacted, so fire suppression will be on the agenda at their AGM next week.
Everybody's got to have sprinklers. They've got to take any deadfall away from their operations. I mean, they just have to get ready.
Lamont says measures like cutting back the brush may mitigate future losses. It's top of mind for Chief Monius at Cross Lake as he plans for community safety next year. His nation would like to teach reforestation practices to members, including establishing a functioning sawmill.
It's empowering for our people. It creates jobs. It creates business. And I think it's going back to the old ways.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Chief Monius says Pimachikamak Cree Nation had a functioning sawmill in the 1960s, and it was used for many years. He believes building a timber industry and teaching members the trade will help fire prevention for years to come. We have some new details on the federal government's plan to get ahead of the next wildfire season.
As the past few years have shown, natural disasters are becoming more and more frequent. And this is a reality that we all need to confront together, whatever our level of government.
Federal ministers were in Winnipeg Monday to announce more than $250 million is being earmarked to lease firefighting aircraft over the next 4 years. Officials say leasing aircraft will allow them to be put into service more quickly. It's still not clear how many or what type of aircraft the announcement entails or where they'll be going. The feds say those details will come out of conversations with provinces and territories to figure out what's most needed. Charges have been laid after a rural Manitoba elementary school received an online threat. The Manitoba First Nations Police Service learned of the threat Saturday, which it says was directed towards Langruth Elementary School. A youth was arrested the same day and was released with a future court date. The force didn't elaborate on the nature of the threat and wouldn't say whether or not the youth was a student at the school. It's believed to be an isolated incident. Rumors are circulating about federal public servants possibly being forced back to the office 5 days a week, and at least one union wants answers.
I think the fact that you haven't heard any clear answers from government shows that they don't plan on owning this with any great detail. They're not planning on defending this decision, certainly.
The uncertainty comes from leaked documents suggesting the government is considering ending its hybrid model. It suggests all senior managers could return to the office 5 days a week in January, some public servants going back 4 days a week in July, and everyone back in the office 5 days a week by January 2027. But the Canadian Association of Professional Employees says it can't get a straight answer. A spokesperson for the Treasury Board president responded to CTV saying, quote, "The direction on prescribed presence in the workplace has not changed. We have no further information to share." The Winnipeg Jets continued their Eastern Road swing Monday night with a stop in Buffalo. They were hoping to make it 2 in a row after a win in Nashville Saturday. The Sabres built up a 3-0 lead with about 8.5 minutes left in the second when Kyle Connor deflects this point shot by Josh Morrissey to make it 3-1. But that's as close as the Jets got. Buffalo adds a few more to close this one out, 5-1 over Winnipeg. The Jets now 1-3 on this road trip. They visit Montreal to close it out on Wednesday. Puck drop is at 6:30. Here's what's happening now on the Norwood Bridge. Looks like things are pretty smooth over here. No issues to tell you about at this point in the drive. Let's look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.30. The provincial average is lower at $1.24. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.23, and the lowest price in the city is $1.09. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
Ainsley McPhail is live at the Transcona Museum this morning. These are images you could expect to see, and it's all decorated for the holidays. Stay with us for more.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
Just a few seconds ago, I saw a little dusting of snow begin, very slight, not even picking up on the camera. That is care of this very weak Alberta clipper that's been pushing in, that's threatening to bring a little bit of light snow through parts of Manitoba today, Winnipeg included. Currently, it's minus 12 degrees, that wind chill making it feel more like minus 21. Overcast, as mentioned, a dusting right now, very trace amounts of snowfall beginning. Barometric pressure is falling, humidity at 82%. So this Alberta clipper comes with it about 2 to 4 centimeters worth of snowfall. It won't be tremendously heavy, and we are going to be spared from these very strong northerly winds that much of the rest of the province is dealing with, we in Winnipeg. Excuse me. So that's keeping our temperatures fairly mild. For Winnipeg, that's minus 10 degrees. Minus 7 is what's typical. To the southwest, very similar. Light snow expected off and on throughout the day. Northern Manitoba, a snowy start to your day as well. Look for those flurries to continue with much cooler temperatures because of a cold air mass hovering over the province. Temperatures peaking there in the upper minus teens to low minus 20s. It is Giving Tuesday, and we're checking with our own CTV's Ainsley McPhail about what difference you can make at the Transcona Museum.
Good morning. Sorry, I had a little technical issue there, so I don't know how long I was standing and eat like this. But good morning. We're live from the Transcona Museum. Such an exciting time to support our community and our community museums. Jen Maxwell joins us to tell us and show us Framed, that's been here for quite some time now. I love this display.
Oh, thank you. So the whole idea of the exhibit was to display our framed documents, artworks, and signs from our archive and showcase them with artifacts that go with these documents. So the example I have here is the proclamation, so the city charter for the city of Transcona, and we've displayed it with our mayoral chain of office, as well as the gavel and photographs of a town and city council.
Mm-hmm. And as we know, too, this museum in this area in particular really focuses on military history and takes pride in that. There's some other artifacts you have as well that highlight this.
Yes. So just over here, we have a honor roll from the Assumption Church here in the community, and it has names of those Transconians who served in the Second World War, including a killed in action name that we didn't know previously. So we used this honor roll to add names to our World War II Book of Honor.
Wow. So when these things come in, I mean, it's such a collection, right? Does that surprise you and the community? What's that like to have these new realizations?
It's always a surprise, and it's uncovering history through learning and discovery, and that's what we do here. Our new mission is to tell those stories of Transcona and share them with our larger community.
People have an opportunity to do that until the 19th, when you guys take a little break for the holidays. But this Saturday, what's going on?
We're doing photos with Santa, so Santa's coming to visit us at the CN 2747, and we can talk a lot more about that later on. We're very excited.
Before we're out of time, anything else you want people to know to come and enjoy the history?
Come on down and discover what we have here.
Thank you so much, Jen. We're going to be heading down to the weather dependent too. I want to say weather dependent because, you know, it is Manitoba and you just never know how things are going to shake, and Santa Claus gets cold as well. But stay with us. We might be heading down there. Either way, we're going to be staying here. One more thing. It's Giving Tuesday. Stay with us.
On the early markets, the Dow Jones is up overnight. The Nasdaq is also up. The S&P index trading is slightly higher. The loonie is trending lower at 71 points, 40 cents U.S. The Hang Seng is up 61 points, and the Nikkei index is flat this morning. The Manitoba government says it has been using conservation officers to help keep an eye out for migrants and drug smugglers along the U.S. border. The operation has been underway for 11 months now. The province promised that 11 conservation officers would spend more time in the border area and alert police or border services if they saw anything suspicious. But so far, the Natural Resources Minister says, as far as he knows, officers haven't seen anything illegal. Snow is now on the ground across much of the province, and that's prompting Manitoba Public Insurance to remind you it's time to adjust your driving habits. The public insurer is reminding people slick roads and spinning tires are just as likely to happen when it's -1 as when it's -30. It's encouraging you to start braking sooner, leave more distance between vehicles, and avoid using cruise control. You should also be sure to clear snow and ice from your vehicle, including inside the wheel wells, and keep an emergency kit handy in case you get stranded.
Also recognizing that others may want to go a bit slower because that's the care that they need to take in order to make sure that they arrive to their destination safely as well. So patience on this one is a real big piece.
MPI says more than 43,500 collisions happened last winter. 1 in 7 of those had careless driving as a contributing factor. An iconic live music venue in Winnipeg is asking for your help. The West End Cultural Centre needs to raise $50,000 by the end of the year. CTV's Jeff Keel shows you why the centre needs the money and what happens if it falls short.
Normally, a band gets all of the attention here, but now a financial crunch is taking center stage at the West End Cultural Centre.
At the moment, we have a cash flow issue.
The nonprofit venue is asking the public for donations. They want to raise $50,000 by the end of this year. Executive and Artistic Director Jorge Requena Ramos says while they are not at risk of closing, they need the money to pay the bills and avoid making some tough decisions.
If we don't get the money, we're going to have to start looking at staffing changes in the facility first. We're going to have to start looking at presenting less events.
Requena Ramos says they're feeling the inflation pinch. He says ticket sales are down and people are drinking less, plus social issues are also impacting attendance.
The people that were poor in the neighborhood are poorer in the neighborhood, and that also has created a feeling of uncertainty in coming to this neighborhood.
Manitoba Music Executive Director Vanessa Kuzina is not surprised to hear the centre may be struggling.
It's really hard to hear because it's such a beloved venue and a really important venue.
She says being a nonprofit comes with challenges, and the West End Cultural Centre is not alone in both the Manitoba and Canadian live music scene.
It's been a bit of a roller coaster in the last, 5-10 years, especially with the pandemic. We lost a few venues over the pandemic, and we've gained a few venues.
In 2027, the centre will celebrate 40 years. Requena Ramos says the fundraising will help them prepare for the milestone.
Revamped, reanalyzed, rebuilt for that to enter that fourth decade.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Have a look at the opening of the first edition of Christmas in Rio de Janeiro with a one-of-a-kind Christmas tree. Yes, this Christmas tree is floating in water. The structure is 80 meters high and is illuminated by more than 2 million LEDs. The tree lighting was accompanied by a fireworks show and a musical performance. More than 500,000 people are expected to visit the tree throughout the holiday season, according to the organizers. Several people in Alberta captured images of an object lighting up the night sky. Take a look at this. Witnesses spotted this fireball. It was seen from areas across the province and lasted between about 10 to 20 seconds, heading from the northeast to the southwest. Some online sleuths have suggested it could be space debris on re-entry, but there has been no confirmation. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. Following the rush, the westbound curb lane will be closed on Nairn overpass between Gray and Watt. The median lanes on Arlington will be closed between Alexander and Flora. On Inkster, the eastbound curb lane will be closed between Powers to Main. If you have any other traffic tips to update us, please text them at 10400.
Casting our eye to the sky, a little bit cloudy to kick off your Tuesday. It's -12 out there, but that wind chill making it feel closer to -21. Southerly winds at 21 kilometers per hour. Pressure is falling. Humidity sits at 82%. So last time I was on the roof, there's very light bits of snow starting to come down. We're likely to see that snowfall ramp up later on this morning and probably before the show's even finished. The culprit being here, this is that clipper, very weak, but it is persistent, pushing in through southwestern Manitoba. Will be joining us here in Winnipeg. Meanwhile, while this clipper will be dealing with us here in the south, the north has separate conditions likely to bring snowfall. In fact, it's already falling in areas like Churchill and Gillam. Continuing through the day is expected. -22 degrees the high there in Churchill, -24 in Gillam, -21 in Thompson, -15 in Island Lake. Should mention, though, that wind chill is going to be particularly fierce in the afternoon, making it feel upwards of -40 degrees. So be sure to bundle up if you're heading outside. To the northwest, a little bit milder, but likely also snowy, -15 degrees in Opaskwayak, Cree Nation, the Paw, -17 in Flin Flon, quite chilly in Lynn Lake at -23 with a 60% chance of flurries through that region. The southwest portion of our province has already seen the snowfall begin earlier this morning. Decent temperatures, not terrible considering them some very strong northerly winds coming your way. -7 in Brandon, -8 in Nipawin, -9 in Dauphin, -10 in Swan River. We're in a similar boat here in central parts of the province. However, as the day continues, look for some stronger winds to potentially contribute to some blowing snow, particularly in the Red River Valley. Highs of -10 in Winnipeg, -9 in Gimli, -8 in Morden. Southwestern Ontario, much the same, a mix of cloud there and some snowfall mixed in, a little bit warmer at -9. Temperatures dipping down overnight to -19, but tomorrow that sunshine returns with a high of -16.
Thank you, Catherine. With holiday shopping now underway, many Canadians are adjusting what they're planning to buy and how much they're planning to spend. CTV's Adrienne Gabriel shows us what's impacting those decisions.
December has arrived, and with it, a flurry of Canadian consumers.
I'm sticking to a budget, trying to get really good deals, yeah.
A survey by the Bank of Montreal has found that 3 in 5 Canadians are adjusting their holiday spending amid tariff concerns, with 37% focusing on made-in-Canada gifts.
Being a bit patriotic about, how they want to spend their money over the holiday season to sort of give back into the Canadian economy.
The economic headwinds from inflation to debt levels are causing some to keep a tighter grip on their wallets.
What consumers are saying, the top of the list is to save money this holiday season. And so if you're going to be marketing online for Cyber Monday, I suspect you're going to be bringing out your best deals.
And cost-conscious Canadians are shifting purchase priorities. This survey by the Business Development Bank of Canada says the average household is spending just over $940 this year. More than half of that is expected to go towards Canadian products, contributing to $11 billion to Canada's GDP while supporting thousands of jobs.
Canadians are really being mindful of how they're going to spend their money over the holidays and where they want to put their money. And I think for a large chunk, it still is going to be around supporting, Canadian businesses.
Financial experts say taking the time to map out your shopping list as well as planning your purchases in advance are key to keeping a cap on your budget. Try and avoid those impulse buys and last-minute shopping. The calendar has now turned to December, and for those celebrating, the clock is officially ticking to get your gifts.
Well, here's something to get angry about. Despite being 2 words, rage bait has been named Oxford Dictionary's Word of the Year. For all of you who don't know what rage bait means, it's described as the feeling a person gets when reading something online that appears to purposely incite anger. It's also known to potentially fuel a reaction that increases debate. According to the UK-based dictionary, the use of rage bait tripled in 2025. An animal unique to Canada is making a comeback thanks in part to the Calgary Zoo's conservation program. The Vancouver Island marmot population was below 2 dozen, and now it's over 400. CTV's Andy Garland reports.
Sibling rivalry is a part of growing up for these 2 Vancouver Island marmots.
They're really rambunctious. They're a lot of fun to watch in the wild, and then they'll stop and they'll go and they'll boop noses, which is a pair bonding activity.
They are 2 of 427 Vancouver Island marmots that are in the wild today.
The early recovery plans that were drafted, 400 was the dream, right? That was sort of the initial kind of target. That was the goal.
It's taken the Marmot Recovery Foundation more than 2 decades to reach the 400 milestone.
The perspective that we try and take is, when we started this program, we could find 22. That was how many marmots we had left in the wild.
The foundation says that the most effective and strongest tool for population growth has been the captive breeding program they do, alongside the Calgary Zoo's Wilder Institute, as well as the Toronto Zoo.
It's important to recognize that when a population gets down to so few individuals out in the wild, it's really unlikely that they're going to recover without human intervention.
It's unbelievable. Without the efforts of all of the partners and without ex-situ breeding for release into the wild, I can almost guarantee you that the Vancouver Island marmot would be extinct.
Even though they're seeing good reproduction numbers, all parties agree the marmots are not out of the woods yet, and more work still needs to be done.
Pups surviving to adulthood, I think we still have a bit of work left to go on that front. The other thing we want to see is good dispersal. So marmots moving around between colonies.
The foundation adds that all the work being done to bring back the Vancouver Island marmot from the brink of extinction is all because of donations from Canadians wanting to see this made-in-Canada species thrive. Andy Garland, CTV News.
So cute. All right, we're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this. It's Tuesday, December 2nd. Today, school safety. Premier Wamkanu addresses parents after security breach shakes a Winnipeg school. Plus, landfill search. Officials begin a lengthy search for remains linked to a convicted serial killer. And Humbug lights up. Winnipeg's favorite festive sign is back, kicking off the city's holiday spirit. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. It is 7 a.m. on your Tuesday. Thank you so much for being with us. Take a look at our gorgeous studio. It's all ready for the holidays and gorgeous in here, so thank you to the crew for setting it up. We love it in here right now. And coming up at 7:52, we're going to tell you about the Winnipeg Jets game on Friday. It is the South Asian Heritage Night, and so there's going to be food, there's going to be music, there's going to be celebration of all kinds. So we're going to find out what you can expect and when you check out that game on Friday. But we can expect a little bit of snow today.
That's right. Not a huge amount, but snow nonetheless. Certainly our friends in the Southwest are already feeling it, and we were starting to see a couple of errant flakes here or there up on the rooftop. But right now it's cloudy, overcast, minus 12 degrees with that wind chill feels more like minus 21. Winds are out of the south this hour at 21 clicks. The pressure is falling, the humidity sitting at 82%. So yes, once the snow begins, and the reason for that rather is this clipper here, that's bringing about 2 to 4 centimeters worth. And as it begins, it will be very light, not terribly dense, and but it will be persistent off and on throughout the day. Northern Manitoba, it is dealing with some snowfall, particularly in the northeast. It's not picking up on our radar, but you're likely to get that flurry activity throughout the day as well. Our futurecast gives us a better sense of how this will all play out. So there's that clipper. As the day progresses, it does start to dissipate by late afternoon, but we do have that chance of it continuing in very trace amounts overnight. And as our winds ramp up overnight and shift out of the northwest. It could contribute to some blowing snow, particularly in the Red River Valley. You can see those clouds linger overnight while the north begins to clear out. We too start to see clearer skies by Wednesday, where we'll be dealing with lots of sunshine, but that's when those really cool northerly winds catch up with us with our temperatures. They get much cooler here in southern Manitoba with highs in the mid-minus teens. And then into overnight Wednesday, we see some clouds rolling in, and then this next batch of snowfall, if you will, coming in, likely joining us by Thursday. So that's bringing some more flurry activity likely. To today, though, a little bit milder with our temperatures. I shouldn't even say that because technically this is cooler than what's expected for this time of year, but it's been a little bit chilly the last couple of days, so it feels downright balmy at minus 10 degrees. Overnight, though, we'll see those temperatures dip to minus 19. That wind chill, though, will make it feel more like minus 25 at times. And tomorrow, we're not dealing with too much in the way of heat with a high of minus 16. Your weather art of the day, Samuel, Sophia, and Gabriel drew these for their grandmother, and they live in Calgary. Their grandmother is in Manitoba, and a proud grandmother sent those in. So thanks for submitting, and keep those weather pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
Every school division in Manitoba is being ordered to boost safety. This comes after a convicted sex offender allegedly made his way into a K-8 school washroom last week in St. Vital and grabbed a student. As CTV's Harrison Shin shows you, the Premier spoke directly to parents who are now questioning just how safe their kids are at school.
The message from the NDP government was clear Monday.
Schools in Manitoba are safe.
Manitoba schools are safe.
In the wake of a disturbing incident Thursday afternoon, police say a man made his way into Darwin School and allegedly grabbed a child in the washroom. The child fought and got away. The man then fled, according to police. 28-year-old Scott William George, a convicted sex offender, was arrested at a nearby shopping mall. He is charged with assault, forcible confinement, and 2 counts of failure to comply with a prohibition regarding children. Education Minister Tracy Schmidt said Darwin School had locked doors, but she said that didn't work, so she's sending a strong message.
Let me be clear. We are encouraging every single school division across Manitoba to strongly consider controlled access to their building.
And she is going one step further.
I've asked all school divisions to submit an emergency response plan to my department for review. This plan will include how they will control access at schools.
Divisions will only have until Christmas to report. The province will provide an immediate $500,000 fund to the Manitoba School Boards Association to assist reviews and training.
We look forward to digging into the details of today's announcement to make sure that the investments by the provincial government are put to the very best use that they can be in ensuring that the unique needs of community schools across the province are met.
Schmidt also says everything is on the table.
These are also first steps. We will take every measure necessary to make sure that kids are safe.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The province can't simply direct all schools to lock their doors. Section 47 of the Public Schools Act says each division must have an emergency response plan, but it does not require locked doors. However, the act does say the emergency response plan should include how they will control access to outsiders. The Federal Department of Justice is calling for a Manitoba man's lawsuit to be dismissed. In August, Scott Taylor sued the Attorney General of Canada and the RCMP after he was wrongfully arrested and falsely linked to a child sex exploitation ring. Taylor says the botched RCMP investigation ruined his life.
I had to hide. I had to go in hiding. Literally had to go in hiding, and my house was vandalized. I had so many death threats. Like endless amount of threats. I'm scared.
That's what Scott Taylor told CTV News in July 2024, days after he was arrested, charged, and taken out of his Portage Prairie home by RCMP officers. His statement of claim alleges RCMP mistook him for another man with the same name. His lawsuit claims easily verifiable information, such as his lack of facial hair and a different company truck on his driveway, would have proved Mounties had the wrong guy. However, in its statement of defense, Canada's Attorney General says there were reasonable and probable grounds to believe he was involved in the offense, including that his name and race matched and that he was known to RCMP. The statement of defense also says the RCMP acted lawfully, reasonably, and in good faith, adding that the RCMP media release did not amount to defamation. The RCMP, who are also listed as a defendant, have not yet filed a statement of defense, and none of the claims have been tested in court. You'll need to find a new route if you're driving into the St. James area this weekend. The city says the northbound St. James Bridge, which runs from Academy Road to Portage Avenue, will be closed between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Sunday. It's for maintenance work. The city suggests giving yourself some extra time and using either the Maryland Bridge or William R. Clement Parkway instead. Some additional changes are coming to the new transit system when the winter schedule launches later this month. The city says all on-request zones currently operating after 7 p.m. will extend service to about 2 a.m. on weekdays and Saturdays. On Sundays and holidays, they'll operate until about 12:45 a.m. Additionally, boundaries for Zone 103 are being adjusted so people can take on-request rides to Garden City Shopping Center and Walmart. Several routes are also being adjusted and having buses added following complaints of buses being late and overcrowded. The winter schedule takes effect December 14th. An historic relic that stood inside Portage Place for decades has now been removed. The iconic 122-year-old clock has been crated up and placed in storage, according to True North, the company behind the multi-million-dollar redevelopment project of the old mall. It says the clock will remain in storage in case someone steps forward with a plan for the relic. The clock was originally installed at the top of Winnipeg's old City Hall building. A long-lost painting has sold at auction after being hidden for centuries. The painting by Baroque master Peter Paul Rubens was recently found in a private townhouse in Paris. It sold for $2.7 million US at an auction. Art experts say the painting had virtually disappeared in the early 1600s. That's cool. All right, here's a look now at what's going on in traffic at Kenniston and Sterling Lion Way. Looks like a smooth drive over here. We have no issues to tell you about at this point in the drive, but if you do see problems, please let us know.
A collective sigh of relief on Bay and Wall Streets after NVIDIA delivered a surprisingly strong revenue forecast and pushed back on the idea that the AI industry is in a bubble, easing concerns that had spread across the tech sector. The world's most valuable company expects sales of about $65 billion in the January quarter, roughly $3 billion more than analysts predicted. NVIDIA also said that a $500 billion revenue bonanza due in coming quarters may be even bigger than anticipated. Well, Canada is going to start negotiations with the UAE on a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. It would cut tariffs, remove trade barriers, and expand market access to Canadian exporters while helping facilitate UAE investment into major projects in Canada, including data centers and critical minerals. The UAE is one of Canada's top trading partners in the Middle East and Northern Africa. Prime Minister Mark Carney has been pushing to strengthen ties around the world as part of the trade war with the U.S. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Today is Giving Tuesday, and Ainsley McPhail is live at the Transcona Museum. They're always looking for support there. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. I can tell you very soon how to donate. But first, you heard of Elf on the Shelf. What about Floyd on the furnace or on the floor? I don't know. I thought I was a little cheeky and clever. You mentioned Giving Tuesday. When you give today, you're giving back to kids programming towards the CN 2747, and the various activities that go on year-round here at the Transcona Museum. Right now, if you want to pop by the museum, Framed is their ongoing exhibition that really plugs back into the heritage of the area. Throughout the morning, we'll be telling you about some of that kids programming. Look how clever some of these little pieces are, and then ways that they're getting the community involved in a festive spirit. So stay with us. We have another chat coming up at 7:27.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now where Catherine Dow is live this morning. It's a cool start to the day.
And it's starting to be a little bit snowy, Rochelle. They've already started to see the flakes fly in basically 75, mostly the rest of the province. Us here in Winnipeg and surrounding regions are just starting to see one or two little flakes come through the air. Currently, it's minus 12 degrees in terms of our temperature. The wind chill, though, feels closer to minus 21. It's cloudy, it's gusty with those southerly winds at 22 kilometers per hour. The barometric pressure is falling and the humidity sits at 81%. speaking of gusts, it's going to be very strong with those winds in the north. You'll be dealing with north or northwesterly gusts throughout the day. And there's also a very cool mass of air that's going to send temperatures plummeting in that region, particularly in the northeast, where highs will be in the low -20s. But that wind chill will feel in excess of -40 this morning in that region. To the northwest, a little bit warmer, but not a ton. So if you're spending time outside, be sure to bundle up. Also in the north, you have about a 60% shot of those flurries off and on throughout today and overnight. To the south, we're still dealing with this clipper, a very weak one, likely to bring about 2 to 4 centimeters worth of light snow. That's going to fall off and on throughout the day. Highs a little bit warmer, still cooler for this time of year, but not bad. -10 degrees expected in Winnipeg.
Weather brought to you by the Winnipeg Humane Society. From all the dogs, cats, and critters, thank you for your kindness.
Well, it's time now for our question of the day. We want to know which organization deserves a shout out on this Giving Tuesday. You can text your answer along with your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing. We want to see more, whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to Pet of the Week at CTV.ca, and then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back right after this.
When you give a child a winter coat, you give them the means to go to school on a cold day, a chance to play outside, because no child should be freezing cold. Donate to Coats for Kids. Proudly sponsored by United Way Winnipeg and CTV.
Good morning. The search is now underway of a Winnipeg landfill for the remains of Ashley Shingoose.
Just told her parents, like, I hope you feel that this is the value and the respect and the dignity that we hold for your daughter, and I hope we're able to bring her home and bring her home soon.
Shingoose was killed in March 2022 by convicted serial killer Jeremy Skibitsky. Police believe he dumped her body in a garbage bin, and the contents were taken to the Brady Road landfill. The search for Shingoose comes months after the remains of 2 other victims of Skibitsky were found, Morgan Harris and Mercedes Myron. Their remains were discovered at Prairie Green landfill. Manitoba Premier Wam Kanu says the search could take up to a year. They will be using the same equipment and procedures as they did when they found the other victims. Winnipeg's St. John Ambulance facility is expanding thanks to new funding from Ottawa.
Across Canada, communities are adapting to new realities, from more frequent extreme weather to more responses to emergencies. These challenges remind us how important it is to have strong emergency response systems and people who are trained and ready to act.
The feds are dishing out $400,000 for a planned 3,000-foot expansion to St. John Ambulance headquarters on Portage Avenue. The new space will be used for first aid training and help volunteers prepare to work at community events and assist during emergencies, like this past summer's wildfire evacuations.
St. John Ambulance volunteers from Manitoba, with the support of volunteers from Saskatchewan, Ontario, and Alberta, served over 6,100 hours of volunteer service in 67 days this summer in the evacuation shelters here in Manitoba. That's St. John Ambulance. That's what we do. That's what this building facilitates.
St. John Ambulance says construction is expected to begin midway through 2026. Snow and colder temperatures aren't the only ways that we know Christmas is just around the corner. The iconic Humbug sign has reappeared on a balcony in the Polo Park area. The sign has been a Yuletide landmark leading up to Christmas since 1973. That's when the original owner decided he wanted to wish people happy holidays in his own special way, and it's been put up every year since. Here's what's happening now on Osborne Street. Looks pretty light still at this point in the drive. If you see any problems out on the streets, please let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Now in entertainment news, there's another mystery that needs to be solved.
I really need to speak to your daughter.
I don't know where she is. She's missing.
Harlan Coben's Runaway has been adapted into a series. The 8-episode series is inspired by the 2019 novel of the same name. Coben's other thriller, Fool Me Once, was one of Netflix's most watched TV shows of 2024. Runaway begins streaming New Year's Day. Super Bowl 60 just got more star power.
Did you know that one of the most beautiful pieces of music also happens to be the hardest to sing? Ah, yes, the Star Spangled Banner is a piece of music that has extreme vocal range. Note is
Charlie Puth will be performing the Star Spangled Banner at the Super Bowl in a couple months. Puth is in good company, too. Other pregame performers include Brandi Carlile and Coco Jones. The Super Bowl is happening February 8th at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. Bad Bunny is the halftime performer. If you always thought you had exceptional culinary skills, now's your time to prove it, and you just may walk away with some serious cash.
I am going with the chicken breast. Hopefully, I can marinate it long enough so it doesn't dry by the time I cook it.
CTV is serving up another season of MasterChef Canada and is casting now, which is open. CTV is looking for ambitious home cooks who are at least 19 years old. You'll need to be available for filming in Toronto between March 20th and April 30th. The winner will be taking home $100,000 and the title of MasterChef Canada. You have until January 12th to head to MasterChefCanadaCasting.ca to apply. Season 8 continues Tuesdays with the winner set to be crowned December 16th.
The CTV Primetime lineup is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba.
Your Tuesday night lineup starts with E-Talk and The Big Bang Theory at 7. MasterChef Canada is at 8. At 9, catch The Traders Canada, and 911 wraps things up at 10. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The Bathfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
Taking a check-in on your weather this Tuesday morning, minus 12 degrees. That wind chill feels more like minus 21. Overcast and slightly windy with southerly gusts at 22 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling, humidity sits at 81%. So while we're dealing with some cool temperatures to start, they will be budging a little bit later on today. So be sure to continue bundling up as you have been the last couple of days. I'm really awkwardly backing out of this shot. I always block Kenora, so it's not really fair. It is a bit warmer in the south. Morden and Winkler at minus 9 this hour. Brandon at minus 10 with some flurries flying through much of southern Manitoba and through much of the province for that matter. Minus 9 in Dauphin, minus 12 in the Pas. I want to point your attention to Churchill. It's minus 22 degrees, but with that wind chill feels in excess of minus 30, and that'll be getting even more frigid into the afternoon with those very strong northwesterly winds that are causing some blowing snow already to kick off on your Tuesday. In fact, much of the north is dealing with snowfall to kick off the day. For us here in the south, we're contending with a very weak clipper. There it is, dispersing snowfall through southern Manitoba. It's began in the Westman area. We've started to see trace amounts out there here in downtown Winnipeg. That'll increase throughout the day. Certainly you want to bundle the kids up and have them ready for the snowfall. Minus 13 as they get to class, minus 12 as they take lunch. Hair warmer on the way home at minus 11. But yes, light snow, about 2 to 4 centimeters worth. So not a ton, not a heavy snowpack by any means, but snow nonetheless. Temperatures dipping down to minus 19. Snowfall could continue overnight, and our winds ramp up out of the northwest, could be causing some blowing snow issues, particularly in the Red River Valley. And into tomorrow, lots of sunshine, but cooler, minus 16 degrees. Overnight staying chilly at minus 20. And then Thursday, a very similar system coming back, bringing light snow with a high of minus 10. Your Skywatch picture of the day, Roy snapped this incredible sunset in Lorette. Just a beautiful array of colors there. Thank you so much to Roy for being handy with the camera. And if you've got any weather pictures to send us, be sure to email them to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Catherine. When cooler temperatures arrive, sitting by the fire with a glass of whiskey in one hand is an ideal night for some. Then perhaps you might want to try a brand from Saskatchewan. As CTV's Stacey Hine reports, a Saskatoon distillery was recently named Worldwide Whiskey Producer of the Year.
John Cote brushes off fresh snow before tapping into a whiskey barrel. Keeping barrels outside in Saskatchewan's extreme weather is far from industry standard, but that unusual approach stood out to judges at the International Wine and Spirits Competition, earning this family-run operation the title of Worldwide Whiskey Producer of the Year.
They were very surprised and impressed with the idea of storing our whiskey outdoors, because that is totally unheard of in the whiskey industry.
That signature technique began by accident. When Cote and his wife Barb first started Black Fox Farm and Distillery a decade ago, they had no choice but to leave the barrels outside.
We couldn't afford to build a building. It sits outside, and then all of a sudden it's like
oh my goodness, this actually works. And so why would you ever change it?
Cote says the barrels expand and contract with Saskatchewan's heat and cold, creating pressure changes that shape the flavor of the whiskey.
It's absolutely wonderful. It's almost like the barrels are alive and breathing.
Judges also praised the distillery's crop the connoisseur philosophy, with about 95% of their grains grown right on their farm. The owners say the award is also a win for the province.
It's a Saskatchewan award because our whiskey can only be made here because of the grains that we grow and our weather.
Saskatchewan is known for growing some of the best grains in the world for other purposes, and we should be able to make very good whiskey, and this proves that we can.
And while the award has boosted sales, they say the most heartwarming part is sharing their whiskey with the world. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Would you want to dive into an advent calendar filled with fish treats? Maybe not, but these guys would. The Humboldt Penguins at London Zoo's Penguin Beach got to inspect an advent calendar just for them as part of the zoo's Magic of Christmas event. Humboldt penguins are pretty clumsy on land, but quick in the water, though when they're getting snacks, they seem to move pretty well. Deck the halls for your chance to win and be featured on Your Morning Winnipeg. Here at Your Morning, we love the sights and sounds of the season, and we want to see how you've decorated for the holidays. All those nutcrackers, lights, and trees could help you win a $500 gift card from Red River Co-op and have the chance to show off your holiday house live on Your Morning Winnipeg with a visit from Ainsley McPhail. To enter, head to our contest page at ctvwinnipeg.ca, fill out the form, and submit some pictures. Good luck. Coming up, Ainsley is live at the Transcona Museum for Giving Tuesday. We're going to tell you about some of the activities planned for kids and the whole family over the holidays. Stay with us. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Transcona Museum. It is Giving Tuesday today, and if you're looking at supporting any local museums, that is a good place to start. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. And what that does is it gives right back into the community here in Transcona and beyond, because there's so much to see and learn for all ages. Jen Maxwell joins us once again. So when it comes to the programs, Giving Tuesday is a great opportunity.
Yes, so today, if you donate for Giving Tuesday, all those donations will support our programs and events that we do here, and that covers free to low-cost programs like spring break, walking tours, crafting programs, educational programs, events that we do at the 2747, so it covers quite a lot.
So it's all community-based, and it doesn't just... Obviously, these four walls are fantastic, but it goes beyond that as well. Tons of other activities throughout the year.
Yes, we like to get out as much as we can into the community. So, for example, going off-site to the 2747, even like the photos with Santa this weekend, it's getting out, it's you know, letting the community know that the Transcona Museum is there and that we do these amazing things, and you can come, you know, support us in the community or come to the museum and support us here in what we do.
So many hidden gems and nuggets. I would highly encourage people to come on into this table. It is an explosion of history and fun, but what I wanted to ask you about was this jacket in particular.
Yes, so this is a train conductor's jacket, and we bring this out for education programs. And when we have the students, we tell them that the gold bars here on the sleeve, each bar represents 5 years this individual would have worked for the railway. So collectively we'll count with them, and it's 40 years he worked for the railway. But it's small little details that can tell a big story.
And somebody who's been around for a long time, this is the worst transition of all time. I don't even know why I'm saying what I'm saying right now, but Santa Claus, you know, he's a long tenured worker. The kids can meet him though this Saturday.
Yes, they can in the afternoon, weather dependent, but we're very excited.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah. Winnipeg, it is weather dependent, and we're going to be heading down to the rail later o'clock in the 8 o'clock hour. Sorry for my silliness.
It's all good.
Happy Giving Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you, Ainsley. And it's all dependent on weather. And today we might see some of the white stuff.
That's right. Santa would feel right at home because not that we're going to be anywhere near the North Pole. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yes, it will be looking quite wintry out there as that snowfall does begin to pick up. It's minus 12 degrees at wind chill, making it feel more like minus 21. It's overcast and windy with southerly gusts at 22 kilometers per hour, shaking our camera around. Pressure falling, humidity sits at 81%. So a snowy Tuesday ahead through much of the province. You can see this very weak clipper here. It's already sort of taken residence across the southwest, bringing flurries to kick off the day, light snow rather, and that'll be coming to us here in Winnipeg. We're looking at about 2 to 4 centimeters worth associated with this system. Not terribly heavy, but snowfall nonetheless. Temperatures a little bit cooler than what we're used to. Minus 10 is our high, minus 7 is more of a typical value for this time of year. And those winds are one of the few areas getting southerly winds at 20 kilometers per hour. But they do shift overnight and ramping up considerably out of the north at 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. That could contribute to some blowing snow before it tapers off before morning. I should mention in areas surrounding Winnipeg in the Red River Valley, you could deal with some very strong blowing snow. So be sure to take caution if you're heading out. Minus 19 degrees overnight with that wind chill feeling in excess of minus 23 degrees at times. Tomorrow the sunshine is back, the snowfall tapers off, but not a lot of warmth coming our way. Minus 16 degrees are high, and those northwesterly winds persistent at 30 kilometers per hour. From there, another very similar system, another clipper coming our way on Thursday, is likely to bring light snow with a high of minus 10. So basically a very similar daytime high, exactly the same daytime high to today. Overnight, those temperatures not budging a ton at minus 13. And then Friday, a mix of sun and cloud with similar highs at minus 10. And we talked about Transcona Museum welcoming Santa. Not terribly warm, but lots of sunshine for when the big guy comes. Minus 15 degrees with that sunshine.
Charges have been laid after a rural Manitoba elementary school received an online threat. The Manitoba First Nations Police Service learned of the threat Saturday, which it says was directed towards Lang Ruth Elementary School. A youth was arrested the same day and was released with a future court date. The force didn't elaborate on the nature of the threat and wouldn't say whether or not the youth was a student at the school. It's believed to be an isolated incident. We have some new details on the federal government's plan to get ahead of the next wildfire season.
As the past few years have shown, natural disasters are becoming more and more frequent. And this is a reality that we all need to confront together, whatever our level of government.
Federal ministers were in Winnipeg Monday to announce more than $250 million is being earmarked to lease firefighting aircraft over the next 4 years. Officials say leasing aircraft will allow them to be put into service more quickly. It's still not clear how many or what type of aircraft the announcement entails or where they'll be going. The feds say those details will come out of conversations with provinces and territories to figure out what's most needed. First Nations chiefs will hear from Prime Minister Mark Carney today. The Prime Minister will be speaking at an Assembly of First Nations meeting in Ottawa. He's expected to face questions over signing a deal with Alberta to potentially build a new pipeline. Other senior cabinet members are also expected to address First Nations chiefs during their 3-day gathering this week. The union representing workers of the Diageo Crown Royal plant that's closing in Amherstburg, Ontario, has reached a final deal with their employer.
It's somber because a lot of people are choosing to exercise their rights under the closure agreement, and today's their last day.
Among the issues covered in the agreement are employee bonuses and benefits. The plant officially closes in February, but the city says several companies are interested in buying it. An iconic live music venue in Winnipeg is asking for your help. The West End Cultural Centre is struggling with a cash flow crunch. The situation is serious enough that the character and the operation of the facility could be adversely affected.
It's really hard to hear because it's such a beloved venue and a really important venue.
The nonprofit venue is asking the public for donations. They want to raise $50,000 by the end of this year. Executive and Artistic Director Jorge Yagarna Ramos says while they are not at risk of closing, they need the money to pay the bills and avoid making some tough decisions.
If we don't get the money, we're going to have to start looking at staffing changes in the facility first. We're going to have to start looking at presenting less events.
Requena Ramos says they're feeling the inflation pinch. He says ticket sales are down and people are drinking less. Plus, social issues in the neighborhood are also impacting attendance. In 2027, the West End Cultural Centre will celebrate 40 years. Requena Ramos says the fundraising will help them prepare for the milestone. The World Health Organization is backing the use of GLP-1 drugs for obesity.
These new medicines are a powerful clinical tool offering hope to millions. But let me be clear, medication alone will not solve the obesity crisis.
The WHO says a healthy diet and physical activity should be paired with the medicines, and that access to the drugs is a major issue with not enough production to meet the global need. Those looking forward to lacing up their skates and hitting the river trail once again can help with preparations. The Forks has begun its annual Adopt a Meter campaign. For $50, you can adopt 1 meter of the iconic Nestawaya River Trail. The money helps support ice testing, snow clearing, flooding, and more. As of Monday afternoon, 80 meters of trail had already been adopted. Some road closures to remind you about this morning following the rush. The westbound curb lane will be closed on Nairn overpass between Gray and Watt. The median lanes on Arlington will be closed between Alexander and Flora. On Inkster, the eastbound curb lane will be closed between Powers to Main. If you have any other information to share with us about traffic, please text them to us at 10400. Here's a look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.30. The provincial average is lower at $1.24. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.23, and the lowest price in the city is $1.09. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
For now, we're sitting at minus 12 degrees with the wind chill. It feels more like minus 21. And we'll be back after this short break.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Look at that nice shot at Portage in Maine. It's minus 12 degrees to kick us off, minus 21 with the wind chill. Cloudy, gusty with those southerly winds. Pressure falling, humidity sits at 81%. A little bit of snowfall headed through much of Manitoba today. In fact, we're included. The Alberta Clipper that we've been a little bit warning you about, it's not terribly heavy, not terribly aggressive by way of Clipper. We'll be bringing that snowfall later on this morning. In fact, it's already shown the remnants there in the southwest, a bit of a snowy start. Not picking up on our radar in the north is another system separate, bringing a good chance of flurries through that region. Along with that, some very strong northerly or northwesterly winds that are really cooling down temperatures with this cool air mass that's hovering over this region. So that means highs will be about minus 21 degrees, minus 24 in Gillam, minus 22. Warmer in Island Lake at minus 15. However, as we know, this just tells part of the story. The wind chill will feel more like minus 30 this morning and maybe even minus 40 into the late afternoon. Meanwhile, to the northwest, excuse me, a little bit warmer in terms of your temperatures. A slight chance of that flurry activity for you. Temperatures there in the mid to upper teens, but quite chilly inland lake at minus 23. Southwestern Manitoba, it's been a snowy start to your day. Look for that snow to continue light, but it'll be there off and on through the day. Minus 7 in Brandon, minus 8 in Neepawa for your high, minus 9 in Dauphin, sunnier in Swan River at minus 10. Very similar conditions expected here in Winnipeg and surrounding regions. However, in areas of the Red River Valley with stronger winds comes the possibility of blowing snow, while we'll just deal with some light snow, about 2 to 4 centimeters worth. In northwestern Ontario, a little bit milder there, and the potential for some mixed precipitation likely coming in the more flurry form. Minus 9 in Kenora and Dryden, minus 8 in Fort Francis. Overnight, that snowfall likely continuing, and with some stronger winds, maybe some blowing snow. Temperatures dipping down to minus 19. Wednesday, clearer but cooler. Minus 16 is our high. And then Thursday, another very similar system bringing flurry activity with a high of minus 10.
Thanks, Catherine. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Transcona Museum for Giving Tuesday. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. I have to tell you, somebody is coming to Transcona. And I want to ask the question, of all the magical places in the whole wide world, why would Santa Claus choose the Transcona? And tell us all about it, Jen.
I think because the 2747 is the first steam locomotive that was ever built in Western Canada, right here in our community. So why not take photos with Santa on a historic train?
Well, those would make for some very beautiful photos for years to come. When is this happening? Tell us all about it.
It'll be this Saturday, December 6th, from 1 to 3 p.m. at the 2747, which is in Rotary Heritage Park on Plessis Road. And the Transcona Biz will be there as well, providing hot chocolate to some of our visitors. And at 2 p.m., the Transcona Library will also be doing a cozy holiday-themed story time.
This is, after all, Winnipeg, Manitoba, weather dependent. So there's a couple things you do want people to know ahead of time, just in case.
Yes. So if it's -20 or colder with the wind chill, we will not be going ahead with this event, and we will post this information on our website and social media by Friday afternoon, because we don't want our visitors to get too cold, and neither does Santa.
Of course not. No, that guy needs to be warm and ready to go for Christmas morning. Jen, you mentioned the partnership with the Biz. This isn't the first time you guys have done it. Why is that so important to the community?
Because they support us and other local businesses here in Transcona, and any opportunity that we can partner with them on any event that we do, it's a no-brainer. And this is the second year, hopefully, that we'll be doing this event with the Biz.
We've mentioned Giving Tuesday throughout the morning. People have already been donating. That's awesome to hear. How can they do so?
If they head on over to our website, www.transconamuseum.mb.ca, the donation link will be right at the top of our website.
And if they come in before the 19th as well, that's when you guys are going to take a little break for the holidays, they can enjoy this exhibition.
They absolutely can, and we're also here to answer any questions, accept donations, help with gift shop purchases, and much more.
Awesome. You know what? With my tree, I mean, I already have mine up, but my next tree, a big fat flamingo right at the top. What do you think? Back to you.
I like it. Okay, thank you, Ainsley. U.S.-made booze proved to be a popular item at some Nova Scotia liquor stores Monday. After being removed from shelves in protest at the start of the trade war, thousands of bottles returned for a quick sell-off to help some local charities. CTV's Jonathan McInnes has more.
The American booze wasn't staying on shelves long.
The first Saturday in May is the Kentucky Derby.
And with 3 bottles in his bag, Jerry Wombolt is making sure he has some bourbon on hand for the first leg of the Triple Crown.
Well, I left this morning to go to the liquor commission that I normally go to, and it was packed when I got there, and that was just a little after 10 o'clock. And the bourbon section, there had to be 10 or 15 people waiting for the bourbons to come out.
U.S. wines were also a popular target for shoppers.
I do understand they were selling fast. I got the very last bottle of my favorite, McManus Petit Shiraz.
The American alcohol on sale today was previously purchased and has been sitting in storage since it was yanked off store shelves back on March 4th. And as of right now, the province doesn't have any plans to buy any more. The profits from the booze sale, expected to be around $4 million, will be given to community food programs like Shabukto Connections.
It's going to allow us to continue our food supports along with enhancing our food supports.
Executive Director Christina Carter says the organization will be getting $200,000. The timing of the support means programs will continue.
Right now we're able to give out 200 produce packs every month, and it provides folks with fresh produce and bread and eggs, and we would have had to cut that back down to maybe 50 a month.
According to the NSLC, there were 600,000 bottles in storage. The U.S. alcohol could be delayed in reaching some stores that couldn't keep it on site. Jonathan McInnes, CTV News, Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia.
Samsung has unveiled its first multi-folding smartphone. The Galaxy Z Trifold unfolds into a 10-inch display using 3 panels and is 25% larger than its latest foldable model. This latest device also has the company's largest battery and supports super fast charging that can power it up 50% in just 30 minutes. The new phone sells for about $3,400. Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 27th birthday to Trevor. Love from Mom, Scotty, and Callie. And a happy 6th birthday to Khalifa. Love from Mom, Dad, Sister Michaela, little brother Caden, and Grandma and Grandpa. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff. 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca. Weather brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful, helping your home get holiday ready with blinds from Hunter Douglas.
The snow has certainly picked up out here. We're getting up to a high of minus 10 degrees. That is a few degrees cooler than what's typical, and a touch cooler as well than what we saw last year, but well off that record set back in the 80s of 9.7. So it's not really picking up on camera, but the snow is definitely coming down. Light snowfall this hour, minus 12 out here in downtown Winnipeg. With the wind chill, feels more like minus 21. Winds are out of the south, kind of gusting and whipping these flakes around at 22 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling, humidity at 81%. So light snow is the name of the game for southern Manitoba today. About 2 to 4 centimeters worth is forecasted by Environment and Climate Change Canada. We'll be dealing with southerly winds here in Winnipeg and highs in much of the region in the low teens. Excuse me. Meanwhile, the rest of the province contending with some fairly strong northwesterly winds. Westman, you've had some flurries to kick off the day. That light snow continues throughout the day. To the north, a separate system is bringing some snowfall to you and some very cold air, and combined with very strong northwesterly winds are cooling things down considerably, particularly in the northeast, where temperatures are peaking in the low minus 20s, but with that wind chill, particularly in the afternoon hours, it could feel closer to minus 40. So bundle up if you're heading outside.
Winnipeg's South Asian community is ready for a special night at the Winnipeg Jets home game Friday against the Buffalo Sabres. The Jets are hosting their 4th annual South Asian Heritage Night at the game. Joining us now with more details is Gani Mon. Good morning, Gani.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. What does it mean to the South Asian community here to have this Heritage Night at the Jets game and be able to represent your community, your culture?
It's amazing how we're already on our 4th annual. It feels like this initiative just started with just a conversation with True North about how we can get our many wonderful communities of Winnipeg not only to become hockey fans, but to be more involved in the sport overall. To have this night specifically for the South Asian community is amazing, and we've seen the social impact throughout the community. We have grandparents and grandkids now arguing about lineups, and
oh, really?
Turns out screaming "shoot the puck" is a universal phrase. So we're seeing that generation gap be filled just through initiatives such as this, and for the Jets to be able to share that platform, again, the largest platform I feel that we have in Winnipeg, to highlight communities, highlight some of the wonderful people doing great work that contribute to the fabric of Winnipeg and to Canada as a whole, has been amazing. So the reception has been overwhelming.
Yeah.
The initiative is thriving at every level. Namely, I would say the grassroots level is what we're seeing the highest impact and participation in the sport. So through programs such as OG Hockey, the Winnipeg Jets First Shift program, which is a free Learn to Skate program for the Asian, Filipino, and South Asian communities. So myself, along with our co-founders Alan Chan and Sean Massasar and Ron Cantaveros, we recruit young kids from the community that are from ages 5 to 10 to participate in these Learn to Skate programs. They get all the equipment for free, and they get 6 free skating lessons, and you should see the looks on these proud parents that's
amazing
that they can see their kids learning how to skate in just 6 short weeks.
Truly taking on the Canadian identity.
And that's what it's all about. I feel oftentimes a lot of communities get lost in that, and it's so important for us to take that responsibility on to help all these communities integrate into Canadian culture and to broaden their Canadian identity. And I can't really think of a better way to do that than hockey. And we're seeing that these communities don't have that where daughters and sons learn how to skate from their parents. They've never played hockey. So organizations like OG Hockey have really stepped up and taken the responsibility on through representation, through their reflection on the ice, so kids can look up and see that I too can become a hockey player, that I too can pursue this. And we started with just 60 kids, and here we are this year. That was just 2 years ago, and we're up to over 200 kids registered in the program.
That is amazing. Okay, so we know the benefits of this, obviously, but what's going to happen on Friday? Paint a picture for us. What is it going to feel like, sound like, and taste like?
It is one of the funnest nights I think we can possibly host, and all these heritage nights that the Winnipeg Jets host are very unique. They bring such great entertainment and such a different vibe to the arena. South Asian Heritage Night is a celebration. The music is absolutely bumping throughout the entire arena the whole time. I cannot speak enough of the local talent that we have in the city when it comes to the performances that we can expect to see from the Winnipeg Punjabi arts community. Their drummers are world class, and the AVA Bhangra All-Stars, which will be performing in the concourse. Outside of that, I got to get into the food. It's probably the coolest menu that you've seen at a Jets game. So we have this year fusion food that we're all used to and loving, such as pizza and poutine with that South Asian twist.
Oh gosh, it sounds amazing. We're almost out of time already. Let's talk about the jersey quickly. You do have 6 jerseys up for auction.
We do.
Can you show us?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have 6 of these amazing jerseys. They're all one of a kind, signed by Jets players. So we have Neil Pionk.
Oh yeah, right there.
Right
I can see
here.
that. Yep.
And all the proceeds for our jersey auction go to Punjabi Community Health Services. They do vital work in our community.
That is amazing.
In the health and wellness space.
Okay.
This year's a new twist. These will be available for jersey auction at the arena, but you can also go online, whether you're at the game or at home to bid.
Thank you. That is amazing. If you do want more information, we have a link on our website. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Glenn Sheeler inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Monday, and it comes from the Monday Nighter between the Giants and the Patriots. You just don't see this every day. New York lining up for a 47-yard field goal, but their kicker, Younghoe Koo, jams his foot into the turf on the approach. Punter Jamie Gillen left holding the ball, gets tackled for a huge loss and a turnover. A bizarre scene as Koo stubs his foot well short of the ball, like a golfer taking a little bit too much dirt. Silver lining for the kicker, he never touched the ball. It doesn't count as a missed kick, but that just sums up the Giants in another forgetful season. Yeah, the quarterback saying his reaction says it all. That's your must-see moment tonight on TSN. The Raptors trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. They're back home taking on the Blazers. Pre-game coverage starts at 7 Eastern. That's all for now from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds, helping your home get holiday ready with Blinds by Hunter Douglas.
It's Tuesday, December 2nd. School safety. What measures the province is planning to boost security in the wake of an alleged intrusion and assault at a school in St. Vital. Tankers along the coast. Alberta's pipeline plans hinge on BC's cooperation, but where and how the oil gets to Tidewater is far from settled. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Tuesday. It is 8 a.m. Ainsley McPhail is live at the Transcona Museum for Giving Tuesday. We're going to tell you how you can support the museum, but it's also a fresh, crisp day today with fresh snow as well.
That's right. Yes, it's already starting to fall in downtown Winnipeg. Our friends all throughout Manitoba have been dealing with that snowfall already much before us. And so we are seeing that sort of on our live eye. It's very light snow, and that's kind of going to be the case for the day, so it's not totally picking up there. Minus 12 degrees currently in Winnipeg. That wind chill making it feel closer to minus 21. Overcast, gray, southerly winds at 22 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling. Humidity at 81%. I just realized I didn't have my clicker. There we go. Always a professional. Yeah, so this is the system here that's bringing that snowfall very light through southern Manitoba today. About 2 to 4 centimeters could be coming off and on, and likely tapering off at night. Meanwhile, northern Manitoba, it is not picking up for you, but there is a good chance, in fact, you've already seen it, of flurries throughout the day. Not as light as what we're seeing here, plus some very cold temperatures. Our futurecast shows us how this will all play out, because even once we're done with this system, another is headed our way. So it just kind of looks like a speckling. It shows on our futurecast as moving out by evening, but again, that chance of it lasting overnight. And with strong winds, you could be dealing with some blowing snow, especially areas in the Red River Valley. To the north, a speckling of clouds, a speckling of flurries off and on throughout the day, and some very cold weather because of not only your strong northwesterly winds, but a frigid cold air mass is leading highs to the low minus 20s in the northeast, and into the afternoon, you're going to feel a wind chill in excess of minus minus 40. Into tomorrow, we clear out nicely, lots of sunshine on the way. However, the northerly winds join us here in the southeast, and that's driving those temperatures down. We're looking at a high of minus 16. And then I mentioned part 2, another system here bringing snowfall. Look as that moves into southern Manitoba by Thursday, bringing more light snow. Overnight tonight, that's when this first system snow tapers off, minus 19 degrees. I mentioned a cooler sunny day. That's on Wednesday at minus 16. And when that second system joins us, decent highs at minus 10. Your weather art of the day. Grandkids Samuel, Sophia, and Gabrielle, who live in Calgary, sent this to their grandmother in Montreal for some lovely Christmas cards. And meanwhile, we are running very low on our weather art of the day. So please, please send us photos of your kids' weather-themed artwork to winnipegweather@ctv.ca, because we're featuring one every morning here on Your Morning Winnipeg. So get yours in.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
In the wake of a shocking assault at a Winnipeg elementary school, Manitoba's Premier says changes will be made to protect students and staff. Premier Wampkenu is encouraging schools to implement controlled access to their buildings if they haven't done so already. And he says the province will also work with communities and law enforcement to support the presence of resource officers in schools as well as other security options.
Kids, you are safe at school. Parents, it is safe to send your kids to school. To school staff and teachers, we are going to protect you as well. And we do this because every child matters.
The Premier said changes will be made in the wake of an incident at Darwin School in St. Vital last week, where a man allegedly snuck into the school, hid in a bathroom stall, and grabbed a child. During a news conference Monday morning, Premier Wampkenu said he is encouraging schools to implement controlled access to their buildings. Education and Early Childhood Learning Minister Tracy Schmidt also says she has asked all school divisions in Manitoba to submit their emergency response plans for review, which will include how they control access to schools. Some additional changes are coming to the new transit system when the winter schedule launches later this month. The city says all on-request zones currently operating after 7 p.m. will extend service to about 2 a.m. on weekdays and Saturdays. On Sundays and holidays, they'll operate until about 12:45 a.m. Additionally, boundaries for Zone 103 are being adjusted so people can take, on-request rides to Garden City Shopping Centre and Walmart. Several routes are also being adjusted and having buses added following complaints of buses being late and overcrowded. The winter schedule takes effect December 14th. Alberta is hoping BC will change its mind when it comes to the federal tanker ban, hoping to work together on the possible new pipeline.
When I look at Port of Prince Rupert, a lot of those issues don't exist there because it is right on the ocean.
Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says she understands BC's concern of not wanting to expand port infrastructure along its coast, but she says other existing ports can be built on. Premier Smith's comments come after BC Premier David Eby said he would be open to a potential pipeline from Alberta to the BC coast, but only if the tanker ban remains in place. The new Environment and Climate Change Minister, Julie DeBrusen, was grilled by the opposition over the project. She says the government won't override the rights of Indigenous rights holders. The coastal First Nations have already opposed the project going through their land. No competing bids have emerged by the deadline for the historic Hudson's Bay Royal Charter of 1670, clearing the way for the Thompson and Weston families to buy the artifact. The families had planned a joint starting bid of $18 million in the auction scheduled for Wednesday. With no challengers, they are expected to be named the successful bidders. They intend to donate the charter to several Canadian institutions, including the Manitoba Museum and the Canadian Museum of History. Here's a look now what's happening in traffic at Confusion Corner. You can see those snowflakes are starting to fall. Might be slowing things up on the road a little bit this morning. If you see any issues out on the drive, please let us know. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at Transcona Museum this morning. It is Giving Tuesday, and any support goes a long way there. Good morning.
Good morning. Today might be a good day to think of giving gifts, but from the Transcona Museum. Did you know that that's even a possibility? Well, you do now. Alana Harita joins us to tell us and show us some of the gift ideas. And I say show because you are embodying one of the perfect gift ideas, tying it right back to Transcona heritage. Yeah, so this is our I'm Not Old, I'm Classic sweater, which features the 2747, and it all proceeds from any of our railway themed items actually go back towards the 2747 and its ongoing care and preservation. But in the gift shop, it may be small, but it is mighty. We have books, we've got postcards, we've got mugs, we've got bobble trains, we've got friction trains, we got battery operated trains that come with batteries, we've got keychains and shirts and different things like that that you could give your loved ones from the Transcona Museum this holiday season. And also we're having a promotion right now. If you spend $35 or more, you get a little free gift while supplies last. But also you can gift a membership to the museum. That it's a gift that lasts a whole year. You could make a donation in someone's memory or honor as part of Giving Tuesday, which is also happening today, which the link for is on our website.
Do you have any suggestions for who I might gift these to? Because there's such a great variety.
I'm Not Old, I'm Classic has been a big hit with dads or grandfathers or uncles. A lot of the train items, they're toys. They're actually children's toys, so they could be gifted to children. If you got someone who likes to travel, maybe the postcards. We also have a Welcome to Transcona poster that we commissioned. So if someone is maybe from Transcona or lives in Transcona, has a connection, maybe that Welcome to Transcona poster might be a nice gift for them to receive this Christmas as well.
That's fantastic. Ken, when you open your gift this year, look really surprised.
All right, thank you, Ainsley. It's the time of year when the temperatures are dropping and you may be tempted to stay on the couch rather than get out and move. But experts say getting exercise and having a healthy diet year-round is critical for health, even when you don't want to do it. CNN's Maddie Gaither has ways to manage winter weight in the weeks ahead.
Add up colder weather, plus darker days, and all that comfort food. It can equal an unhealthy shift on the scale.
A lot of people sort of hunker down in the winter and stay inside a little bit more often.
Dr. Kathleen Muller with the American Academy of Family Physicians says the first step to keeping a healthy weight in winter is to have a plan to work out. If you're an outdoor exerciser in warmer weather, consider getting a gym membership now so that you can start the habit of going when the temperatures drop even further. Or just add ways into your day to move more.
That can be taking the stairs, that can be walking farther from the parking lot into the grocery store. Any bit of movement helps.
With all the winter holidays, we tend to be surrounded by foods we don't normally eat. Muller says to tackle the temptation to overindulge by having healthy options and allowing that to be your default.
So a veggie platter in addition to the cheese and crackers, and just make sure that we're going towards the veggie platter a little more often.
Finally, Muller says to remind yourself why you want to maintain a healthy weight. It's not just about how we look, but how we feel now and in the future.
Being a healthy weight reduces your risk of inflammatory conditions, cardiovascular disease, and cancers. We also just are able to move longer through our lifespan and have a longer health span if we maintain a healthy weight throughout our lives.
The Bathfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
If you want to get outside and get your steps in, now's not a bad time to do it. While it is cool, if you dress for it, it can be rather pleasant. Although it is looking a little bit ominous out there. Minus 13 degrees, that wind chill making it look more like minus 22. Cloudy and gusty with those southerly winds at 25 kilometers per hour. Pressure falling, humidity sitting at 83%. Sunshine will be in short supply. Temperatures a little bit cooler than what's typical for this time of year, but not terrible. What a wonderful premise there. We are going to be dealing with some highs into the low minus teens. So as you can see, we're already starting off there. So we're not dealing with a ton of difference, not a lot of deviation in our temperatures. To the north, however, it is very chilly to kick off the day, in particular in Lynn Lake at minus 24 and Churchill at minus 22, where you've got some blowing and gusting snow. And with that wind chill value in effect, we know it's feeling in excess of minus 35 and likely to feel even more frigid into the afternoon hours. So this is the temperatures where you've got to protect yourself health, folks, if you're heading outside. So do dress for those conditions. Speaking of conditions, it's a little bit misty, a little bit snowy outside to kick off our day. The culprit being this clipper here that is hovering over southern Manitoba. About 2 to 4 centimeters of snowfall is expected. So you want to dress the kids for those conditions as they head to class. -13 as they arrive under that soggy weather, and just minorly heating up through the day. -12 at lunch and -11 as we head home. We're getting a little warmer than that. -10 is our high in Winnipeg. -7 is more what's typical. Southerly winds will be at 20 kilometers per hour, and they'll ramp up overnight and shift out of the north as temperatures dip to -19, and that snowfall starts to taper off. Into tomorrow, much the same in terms of our, actually not much the same in any regard. Cooler, sunnier, high of -16. But then Thursday, that's where I was getting at. We do have a similar system heading our way, bringing almost mirror conditions on Thursday with a high of -10 under light snow. We're going to take a break here on Your Morning Winnipeg, but don't go anywhere. So much more still to come.
When you give a child a winter coat, you're giving a child the means to go to school on a cold day, a chance to play outside. When you give a child a winter coat, you're giving them the freedom to create warm winter memories, because no child should be freezing cold. Kids should be able to go outside and have fun. Donate to Coats for Kids. Drop off new or gently used winter wear at these participating businesses. Proudly sponsored by United Way Winnipeg and CTV.
A collective sigh of relief on Bay and Wall Streets after NVIDIA delivered a surprisingly strong revenue forecast and pushed back on the idea that the AI industry is in a bubble, easing concerns that had spread across the tech sector. The world's most valuable company expects sales of about $65 billion in the January quarter, roughly $3 billion more than analysts predicted. NVIDIA also said that a $500 billion revenue bonanza due in coming quarters may be even bigger than anticipated. Well, Canada is going to start negotiations with the UAE on a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. It would cut tariffs, remove trade barriers, and expand market access to Canadian exporters while helping facilitate UAE investment into major projects in Canada, including data centers and critical minerals. The UAE is one of Canada's top trading partners in the Middle East and Northern Africa. Prime Minister Mark Carney has been pushing to strengthen ties around the world as part of the trade war with the U.S. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
To think that Canada Helps powers over 86,000 charities is pretty hard to fathom. From poverty to accessibility and beyond, they're making donating to your favorite causes a whole lot easier, just in time for Giving Tuesday. Joining me now is its president and CEO, Duke Chang. Good morning, Duke.
Good morning, Ainsley. It's wonderful to be with you and your viewers.
Thank you so much. So this started back in 2013 with Canada Helps. Tell us about your organization for those who don't know.
Sure. Canada Helps actually started back in 2000. We're 25 years old now. We were really fostered as an easy way for people to give and support charities online. In 2013, we actually co-founded the Giving Tuesday Canada movement, bringing that global movement to Canada. And since then, we've been supporting generosity and encouraging Canadians to support local causes and causes that are important to them.
Okay, so take us back and tell us about that Giving Tuesday initiative more specifically.
Yeah, Giving Tuesday is a global movement. It really comes on the heels of Black Friday and Small Business Saturday and now Cyber Monday as a moment to reflect and say, okay, well, what about others? How can I help others? Let's use this moment not as a moment of shopping, but as a moment of generosity to think about the causes that we care about, the change that we want to see in the world, and really a reminder to Canadians to think about supporting charities during this time of year.
And you and your team are encouraging people who maybe haven't given in a while to step up. Why is that?
That's right. We've seen over the years, fewer and fewer Canadians are giving to charities over time. Those who are giving more, and that's a reflection of the economic times that we're in. However, this year, we're really encouraging Canadians who maybe haven't given in a while, or those who've never given before, to try it out. Just give it a shot this year and think about a cause that's important to you or an organization that's important to you, and give a little bit this season. If we can get just a few more Canadians to give and participate, it means a world of difference, particularly to small charities in Canada, which don't have as many resources to work off of.
And shout out to all those wonderful charities here in Manitoba. I myself get to see all the loving and giving people in this part of the country. Do you have any tips to spark generosity?
Yeah, our tips are really simple. First, think small. Think about that local community organization in your neighborhood or in your town that's working really to improve life around you. So many times we think about these big national charities, and those are great too, but your impact can actually go a lot further. If you think about a typical small charity in Canada that may be only operating off of a couple $100,000 a year, that may be mostly volunteer run, your dollars go a lot further to that organization. Second thing is think about what you're passionate about. Think about what you care about. Think about the change that you want to see in the world or the organizations that you want to support, and really let that fuel your generosity and how you express your generosity.
Thank you.
The last tip we would always give people is giving is actually good for you. It's actually releases endorphins into your system and makes you feel better. It makes you healthier. And so we really think about giving as not only good for the world, but also good for you personally.
Just in time for Giving Tuesday. Thanks so much, Duke.
Thank you.
Mother Nature is giving snow. She's giving snow globe. It's feeling lovely out here, I gotta be honest. Minus 13 degrees, so it's not terribly cold. That wind chill is in effect, but if you're dressed for it, it's certainly very pleasant. Overcast, southerly winds at 25 kilometers per hour, pressure falling, humidity at 83%. So as the day progresses, it's going to be cloudy, and we'll be dealing with these periods of very light snow in southern Manitoba. That's care of a clipper, very weak, but it's bringing about 2 to 4 centimeters worth of snowfall, and some very strong winds, particularly in the southwest, will be causing some blowing snow as those winds ramp up into the afternoon. To the north, a snowy day ahead for you, more in the form of flurries, I should say. Temperatures much cooler. That's because there's a frigid air mass kind of hovering, particularly over the northeast corner, and whipping around with those northwesterly winds. You're going to see wind chill values in excess of minus 40, even though your highs will be in the low minus 20s. Excuse me. Flurries expected to continue overnight in the north. In the south, we too will hang on to some light snow through part of the evening. Then it'll taper off as temperatures begin to cool off into tomorrow. We're getting a high of minus 16 in Winnipeg with lots of sunshine. And then we're not totally finished. A very similar system is tracking into southern Manitoba on Thursday, bringing light snow and decent highs, still below seasonal, but better than what we'll be seeing Wednesday. A high of minus 10 in Winnipeg. Your Skywatch picture of the day, this stunner snapped in Lorette by Roy Heinrichs. Thanks so much for submitting. And if you've got any weather pictures to send, be sure to email them at winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Here at Your Morning Winnipeg, we love the sights of the season. We want to see how you've decorated for the holidays. All those nutcracker lights and trees could help you win a $500 gift card from Red River Co-op and have the chance to show off your holiday house live on Your Morning Winnipeg with a visit from Ainsley McPhail. To enter, head to our contest page at ctvwinnipeg.ca, fill out the form and submit some pictures. Good luck.
We are talking about recycling today, and my guest is Tristan King. He is an energy efficiency specialist, so thank you for joining us. He's here with Efficiency MB, or Efficiency Manitoba. I think of recycling and I think of, oh, where do I throw my drink container when I'm done? That's not what we're discussing today. It's actually appliances. So you've got this program about appliance recycling. Tell me about it.
Yeah, our appliance recycling program is a great opportunity for Manitobans to recycle their full-sized old working fridge or freezer. We offer free in-home pickup. And we'll give you a $30 rebate for each full-size eligible appliance that you recycle. Our service provider, Pure Sphera Recovery and Recycling, will handle the removal and recycling from start to finish. And it's a great opportunity this holiday season to declutter your home and save on those energy bills.
I like that, making a little bit of money along the way. You're not going to throw that in your blue box, obviously, so you're going to come through and pick it up. Where do the appliances go after you take them away?
Yeah, once they're collected, Pure Sphera takes them to their recycling center where they decommission the appliance safely and responsibly. And they break it down to the raw materials. So that's things like metals, glass, plastic, foam, refrigerants, and oils. In fact, up to 95% of the appliance is recycled, meaning very little ends up in the landfill.
Good news.
Yeah.
Okay, I love this idea. So you mentioned like fridges and freezers. Is that it, or is there a bigger list? What gets recycled?
Yeah, so if you book an appointment to pick up a full-size fridge or freezer, we'll also take your bar-sized fridge or freezer, the dehumidifier or window air conditioning unit. There's no additional rebate for those small appliances, but they are recycled in the same manner as the full-size one, so you can feel good knowing they won't end up in the landfill.
Absolutely, and you can get somebody else to come along and take them out of the house for you. You don't have to do the heavy lifting yourself.
That's right.
All right, so if somebody's thinking they want to take part in this program, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, so in order to apply for the program, first thing you want to do is make sure that you and your appliance are eligible. The program's available to all Manitobans, and the appliance has to be at least 20 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, nobody's going to throw you a new fridge, right?
Right.
So, sure, once it's past its life. Okay.
It has to be 10 cubic feet or larger, which is standard size. And it has to be in working condition, otherwise we don't get to claim those energy savings. Yeah, so in order to apply and to learn more about our full eligibility criteria, please visit our website at efficiency.mb.ca/appliance-recycling. Pickup's quick and convenient, and you can expect to receive your rebate via check or e-transfer 6 to 8 weeks after we pick it up.
Nice, a check in the mail, not bad at all. This all sounds so easy. I mean, you just show up, you take it away. They just have to reach out and contact you. All the information on the website. Tristan, thanks so much for sharing this information with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Flakes are flying out there in Winnipeg and through much of Manitoba for that matter. It's minus 13 degrees on this Tuesday, minus 22 at the wind chill. Cloudy, gray, eerie. Southerly winds, pressure falling, humidity at 83%. So yes, snow is the name of the game through all of Manitoba today. The form it takes will be varying all throughout the province. For us, it'll be very light snowflakes. You can see the system there. That's a clipper that's bringing and spreading that snowfall, about 2 to 4 centimeters worth. Meanwhile, to the north, you're looking at flurry activity. You've already started on a snowy note. The flurries will likely continue throughout the day, and some very cold temperatures mixed in with some very strong northwesterly winds are brewing some very cold temperatures indeed. So minus 21 in Thompson, minus 24 in Gillam, minus 22 in Churchill. But with that wind chill, we know it'll feel in excess of minus 30 at times, even cooler into the afternoon hours. A little bit warmer in the northwest, but by no means hot. Temperatures at minus 15 in Opaskwayak Nation and Nepal, minus 17 in Flin Flon, minus 15 in Norway House, with that 60% chance of flurries. The light snow has begun and has been for a good couple of hours in southwest. Temperatures milder than what we're seeing here in Winnipeg, minus 7 in Brandon, minus 8 in Nipawin, minus 9 in Dauphin. For us here in Winnipeg, minus 10 will be our high, minus 7 is more what's typical. That snowfall will fall off and on throughout the day, paired with some southerly winds at 20 kilometers per hour. And the northwest, temperatures similar to what we're seeing here with some lighter snow on the way, minus 9 in Kenora, minus 9 in Dryden as well, minus 8 in Fort Francis. Overnight temperatures dipping down to minus 19 degrees. Those winds will shift out of the north and ramp up, causing, if we still have that snowfall, to really whip around. Into tomorrow, though, we see those skies clear out nicely with a high of minus 16 degrees, so not a ton of heat. And then Thursday, we're in for a repeat. More snowfall on the way with a high of minus 10.
2025 was one of the worst wildfire seasons on record in Manitoba. Fires destroyed thousands of hectares of forest, whole communities were displaced for weeks on end, and 2 people lost their lives. Now, those most affected are looking at ways to address future fire risks.
When I seen the amount of fire that was there, and it was coming towards from the west, moving towards the northern side, and then from the southern side, I thought, my God, we're going to lose our homes. We're going to lose our livelihood, and what are we going to do with the people?
Chief David Monius of Pimicikamak Cree Nation watched 160,000 hectares of his nation's traditional land burn from nearly every direction, displacing thousands of residents. In fact, fire touched communities all across Manitoba's north this summer. Fishing lodges and many other tourism hubs across the province are out thousands in missed revenue. Don Lamont, Executive Director of Manitoba Lodges and Outfitters, says 2/3 of their members were impacted, so fire suppression will be on the agenda at their AGM next week.
Everybody's got to have sprinklers. They've got to take any deadfall away from their operations. I mean, they just have to get ready.
Lamont says measures like cutting back the brush may mitigate future losses. It's top of mind for Chief Monius at Cross Lake as he plans for community safety next year. His nation would like to teach reforestation practices to members, including establishing a functioning sawmill. Things are looking a bit more celestial this morning for those crossing the Maryland Bridge. That's because the Misericordia Angel Squad is back in action. This year marks the 30th anniversary of this cherished annual fundraising event. Hosts of Angels will be collecting donations. Guests can also enjoy warm beverages, treats, a fire pit, photo op areas, and more. Money raised on this Giving Tuesday will support the Misericordia's pediatric programming from ophthalmology to dentistry and allow the center to provide care for Manitobans of all ages. Champagne from Lady Diana and Prince Charles's wedding is up for auction in Denmark. A rare magnum of Dom Perignon vintage 1961 champagne, which was served at the wedding in 1981, is set to go on auction next week. The bottle could be worth up to $130,000. It's December 2nd, just over 3 weeks to go until Christmas, and this year, Advent calendars are having their moment on social media. ABC's Sophie Flay has the Christmas countdown.
This one is supposed to be the best one on the market. We'll see about that. Open her up. Oh my gosh.
On social media right now, Advent calendars are all the rage.
I've unboxed 19 Advent calendars already, so here are my top 5.
The holiday tradition dating back to 19th century Germany, beginning with a children's book and some chalk marks, serving as a creative way to count down to Christmas. And these days, there's an Advent calendar for any interest. Macy's saying it's offering more than 100 Advent calendars this season for all ages, including toys, food, and beauty.
If you compare the numbers in terms of people unboxing their Advent calendars and their gifts on social media, that popularity of those type of social media posts has increased almost 300% year over year from 2014.
Dare I say I bought every single Advent calendar on the market?
Creators are spending big bucks to show shoppers whether or not this season's calendars are worth the hype.
I accidentally spent $11,000 on an Advent calendar.
Sarah Morris, a content creator in Tennessee, has spent thousands on Advent calendars to share with her followers. She's already opened 20.
If I were to think about the brands and the products that I would actually use, actually enjoy, I would pick the Revolve Advent calendar, which unfortunately it's sold out. So I'm sorry if y'all are seeing this.
The products and prices can vary widely. From this 5-foot, $200 chocolate bar Advent calendar at Costco to this $20 beauty one from Target.
Huge, 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 huge. This looks promising.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Here's a look now what's happening in traffic on the St. James Bridge. You can see things have backed up over here. It could be the snow that is affecting the drive this morning, slowing things down. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, please text them to us. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average stands at $1.30. The provincial average is slightly lower at $1.24. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.23, and the lowest price in the city is $1.09. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
For our question of the day, we wanted to know which organization deserves a shout out on this Giving Tuesday. Auntie Nina is thankful for the dialysis team at Seven Oaks Hospital, her home care workers, and her family and friends who have been there along the way. And Lana says the Manitoba Indigenous Cultural Education Center deserves a shout out. Nicholas says the St. Boniface Museum needs your help. Craig says Bruce Oak Recovery is raising funds for the Ann Oak Recovery Center, which will help women recover and will be able to have their children with them. Marlene is giving a shout out to Winnipeg Police and all emergency services and volunteers. Joan wants to give a shout out to the staff of Dakota Plains School and says they're a group of dedicated and caring individuals who truly care about students and their families. Jackie says with so many organizations helping Winnipeggers in need, they all deserve a shout out for their tireless efforts. Thank you to all of you for your responses. And the Transcona Museum is also deserving of some help at this time of year for Giving Tuesday. That is where Ainsley McPhail is live this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. I am live inside the CN 2747. An opportunity for you this Saturday to get photos with Santa Claus himself. Alana's joining me once again to share, and we're going to show you guys inside. Tell us about all what's happening on Saturday.
So Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m., Santa will be visiting us here at the 2747 to take photos. So it's a free event. We're asking for a tin for the bin as your admission. You need to bring your own camera to take your own photos. We don't have a photographer here. And so you'll be up here in the cab and get your photos with Santa and Mrs. Claus. However, if the weather, this is an outdoor event, as you can see, it's kind of cold right now. So if the temperature is -20 with the wind chill or colder or storming, unfortunately, we're going to have to cancel the event.
Yes, and that's fully understandable. Dress to the conditions, as they say. The programming, though, for Giving Tuesday, part of that goes towards the programs that go on here as well. Break that down a little bit further, as well as what happens when you donate on this Giving Tuesday.
So this year for Giving Tuesday, all of our donations are going towards our programming. So that is tours that we give out here at the 2747. That's coming up with new programs that we can design for school groups and families and adults. That's for our summer programming that we do that is free to low cost. Like, we try to do everything at the museum free to low cost for our community. And so by donating today for Giving Tuesday, that'll really help us be able to continue to do our programs and even add more.
Mm-hmm. And invite the broader community in as well. Of course, everybody in Transcona knows about this piece of equipment, but let's bring in people from all over Manitoba.
Yeah, like, you know, this was the first steam locomotive built in Western Canada, but it actually worked in Alberta. It worked up in northern Manitoba. So a lot of our history, while it's Transcona specific, there are connections to Winnipeg, to Manitoba, and even to Canada.
Yeah. Santa Claus would say the same thing, you guys. And you could have a chat with him about the locomotive on Saturday, weather dependent, of course. It's Giving Tuesday. Give to your favorite local organizations. I spend so much time with them every single day. They really appreciate your support.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. A little bit of a snow globe effect right now, Catherine.
Yeah, it's not really picking up on the camera, but Mother Nature is giving plenty of snowfall. Very generous with the precipitation today, not only here, but all throughout Manitoba. Here in Winnipeg, we're at -13 to kick us off, -22 with the wind chill. Cloudy, overcast, a bit foggy, if you will. Winds are out of the south, whipping these snowflakes around at 25 kilometers per hour. Pressure's falling, humidity at 83%. So much of Manitoba's had a snowy start, the north included. You're going to be dealing with likely flurries off and on throughout the day, and some very strong northwesterly winds. With that, some cold air. That is driving temperatures down, particularly in the northeast. Excuse me, temperatures there will peak in the low -20s. However, wind chill values will make it feel in excess of -40, particularly in the afternoon hours. A little bit milder to the northwest, but not a ton. Highs in the mid-teens, and that 60% chance of snowfall for you. For us here in the south, we're being dealt a separate system altogether. A clipper pushing in from the west, that's responsible for this light snowfall. About 2 to 4 centimeters is the ballpark for what we'll get. It should taper off overnight. Temperatures today, I should say, in Winnipeg at -10, -7 is what's seasonal. We'll see those temperatures dip overnight to -19 in Winnipeg. That snowfall tapering off. And then tomorrow, the polar opposite, sunny and much cooler. A high of -16 degrees before even more snowfall comes our way Thursday. But it'll be light and mild. Alrighty, we're going to take a break here on Your Morning Winnipeg, but stay with us. So much more still to come.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Good morning. An historic relic that stood inside Portage Place for decades has now been removed. The iconic 122-year-old clock has been crated up and placed in storage, according to True North, the company behind the multi-million-dollar redevelopment project of the old mall. It says the clock will remain in storage in case someone steps forward with a plan for the relic. The clock was originally installed at the top of Winnipeg's old City Hall building. An animal unique to Canada is making a comeback thanks in part to the Calgary Zoo's conservation program. The Vancouver Island marmot population was below 2 dozen, and now it's over 400. CTV's Andy Garland reports.
Sibling rivalry is a part of growing up for these two Vancouver Island marmots.
They're really rambunctious. They're a lot of fun to watch in the wild, and then they'll stop and they'll go and they'll boop noses, which is a pair bonding activity.
They are two of 427 Vancouver Island marmots that are in the wild today.
The early recovery plans that were drafted, 400 was the dream, right? That was sort of the initial kind of target. That was the goal.
It's taken the Marmot Recovery Foundation more than 2 decades to reach the 400 milestone.
The perspective that we try and take is, when we started this program, we could find 22. That was how many marmots we had left in the wild.
The foundation says that the most effective and strongest tool for population growth has been the captive breeding program they do, alongside the Calgary Zoo's Wilder Institute, as well as the Toronto Zoo.
It's important to recognize that when a population gets down to so few individuals out in the wild, it's really unlikely that they're going to recover without human intervention.
It's unbelievable. Without the efforts of all of the partners and without ex situ breeding for release into the wild, I can almost guarantee you that the Vancouver Island marmot would be extinct.
Even though they're seeing good reproduction numbers, all parties agree the marmots are not out of the woods yet, and more work still needs to be done.
Pups surviving to adulthood, I think we still have a bit of work left to go on that front. The other thing we want to see is good dispersal. So marmots moving around between colonies.
The foundation adds that all the work being done to bring back the Vancouver Island marmot from the brink of extinction is all because of donations from Canadians wanting to see this made in Canada species thrive. Andy Garland, CTV News.
Back at Manitoba Chicken with another great recipe to share with you. Josephine Arma joining us today. Josephine, what is it that we're going to make?
Yeah, the holidays are really fast approaching, and I don't know about you, Terry, but I love to plan my food and all that, and I love to host people. So today we're going to be making our fully loaded chicken nachos.
Okay, these look delicious, so let's talk about the steps that it's going to take to bring it all together.
Perfect. So in this bowl here, I have about 2 cups of chicken breast that I've just cubed up, and for the purposes of this recipe, we're just going to, heat it up before you actually start putting it together.
Right, because once it goes in the oven, really it's just a matter of melting the cheese, right? So if you did do this in advance, you might need to rewarm it. If it's fresh off the oven, freshly cooked or whatever, then you can just go right along.
That's exactly it.
Excellent.
So what I'm going to have you do, Terry, is add about a tablespoon of taco seasoning.
Very nice.
And this is great because everybody usually has that in their pantry, right? Mm-hmm. And then we have some diced jalapenos to add a lot of heat. Or you can omit it depending on what you like.
There will obviously be some people,
Exactly.
They're like, no, ooh, we lost a chicken. Anyway, we'll get that later.
But this recipe is great because you can prep it ahead of time, and then when you're ready for your party, you can just assemble it on site, and it makes for a great appetizer as well.
Very nice. So this just goes straight onto our chips?
That's right. So we're just going to sprinkle our chicken on top of our chips.
Okay.
And you can evenly distribute it so every chip gets a bite of chicken.
Yep.
And Manitoba chicken is around all year long, which is really great to know. So you can always buy it from your local grocery store and have it available for you throughout every season.
I love that. And it's such a great lean source of protein, right? And I think protein is one of those things that, certainly for me at my age, we're always trying to find ways to get more protein into our diet, right? Is that thing that kind of keeps you full, and we just need to get that. So
that's right.
Anyway, I'll finish putting this on here because, as you said, there's chicken for every bite. I was being like a little bit stingy at first, but load it up. Okay, excellent. Awesome. From there, I guess cheese next?
Yep, load it up with the cheese. I don't know about you, Terry, but I love cheese, so just load it up there.
Oh, for sure I will.
We want cheese and chicken in every single bite.
That's the ticket, right? Because you don't want those naked little chips in there.
Exactly
Everything has to have a little bit of flavor on it. And I love the blend of flavors that you got here. All right.
It's delicious.
Well, we'll finish off that cheese. Might as well. Yeah.
Finish it off.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we've got some green onions and some cilantro to add, so you can just add that in there.
Does that go in before you put it in the oven or at the end? We'll put it on now just to make it look good.
Yeah, you can dress it up to make it look good, but if you don't want them to wilt, you can also wait till later.
Sure. Excellent. And cilantro is one of those things Some people love it, some people hate it.
exactly
I'm like,
it.
bring it on, the more the merrier. Look
So
at
toss
that.
this in the oven at about 400 degrees Fahrenheit until your cheese is nicely melted and you're good to go.
Look at that. And then served up with some sour cream, some salsa there, a little guacamole if you like. Easy, and it's a crowd pleaser for sure. Where do we find this recipe?
So you can find this recipe at manitobachicken.ca.
Love it.
This segment brought to you by Manitoba Chicken. Discover delicious and nutritious recipes at manitobachicken.ca.
Maybe you want to host a Taco Tuesday today to bring some heat to this day, counter what Mother Nature's serving up, because it's looking quite eerie out there, a little bit cool at -13. The wind chill feeling more like -22. As mentioned, it's overcast, southerly winds at 25 kilometers per hour. Pressure is coming down, falling in other words. The barometric pressure, or humidity rather, is at 83%. So yes, not a ton of sunshine on the way, and it's going to be a snowy one at that. This clipper here is responsible for that light snowfall that's already begun here in Winnipeg. That'll continue throughout the day. We're looking at about 2 to 4 centimeters worth, plus some winds out of the south at 20 kilometers per hour. The north, it is not picking up on the radar, but you too have a good chance of some flurries off and on throughout the day. For us here, we're getting up to a high of -10 degrees. -7 is what's typical. Paired with that southerly winds, you could deal with some blowing snow, not only into the day, but overnight as well. That's when temperatures dip down to -19. Winds also ramp up and shift out of the northwest, and that could be causing more periods of blowing snow. So if you're headed out on the roads overnight, be sure to take a little bit of extra caution. Into tomorrow, we'll see that system move out of our skies, leaving behind lots of sunshine, a high of -16. Overnight, quite chilly at -20. And then Thursday is kind of a carbon copy of what we're seeing today. Another low pressure system bringing a light snowfall with a high of -10. We're going to take a break on Your Morning Winnipeg. Don't go anywhere. Your videos of the day ahead.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Before we say goodbye, we're going to send you off with some fun video. A one-of-a-kind Christmas tree is on display in Rio de Janeiro. Yes, this Christmas tree is floating in the water. The structure is 80 meters high and is illuminated by more than 2 million LEDs. More than 500,000 people are expected to visit the tree throughout the holiday season. Beautiful. Well, the Christmas season has officially started in New York. What? Nearly 2 million people have viewed this video of the Grinch chasing a screaming Christmas tree on a subway train. Most are impressed by how most passengers weren't even fazed by the commotion at all.
Those are New Yorkers, man.
Yeah.
They've seen a lot crazier stuff on the train.
On the train. Well, we could all use someone who believes in us like this. This mother-daughter duo were bringing up heavy decorations from storage. When it got hard, the little girl started to hype up her mom. She did it well.
I need it when I go to the mechanic to deal with them.
See you tomorrow.